Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well and welcome to the Late Night Conquest Tournament. So today we're going to have 5 rounds of competition. Should be very sweaty and very ferocious, and we're going to be kind of testing out Conquest mode because on Saturday, the 27th, is coming Saturday at 9 a.m., we're going to be having our major faction war. So today is kind of a precursor to that, just to kind of, get a feel for things and see how it goes. So we will be casting a bunch of games. Pretty good signups for short notice and super late night, so very happy to see that. So right now we're going to get the tournament started and go from there. Yes, yes. Hope you're all doing well. So 5 rounds though today, because land battles are typically a lot quicker than old domination. Granted, these aren't like true, they're conquest games, a little bit different. The timer can alter the nuances in that regard, but yes, here we are. So we're going to be generating the bracket. Let's fire it off, see how this goes. Welcome, welcome. What's up, Harrison? You playing tonight, man? You getting in there, throwing your hat in the ring? All right, perfect amount of players, so there's not going to be any buy rounds. Let me announce to the players, it is go time. Goblins, go time. Conquest, tourney is live. Get those games going. And now I need to find a game to cast. So we're going to look down here, see what we can get. And a lot of faces I don't recognize, which is pretty cool. We could do a Gojira game. Although that looks like a fun one. Okay, so we will do that. Okay. Lobby code, please. We'll cast your game. All right, let's fire it off. We got a game to cast. Just need to wait for the player to send me the invite. And we should be all set. Should be all set indeed. So remember, if you guys are playing in tonight's tournament, you're not going to need the map pack because we're just playing on the vanilla client. It's kind of cool. It's fun to be able to do that. Yeah, I'll be. So here's the thing. During the summer, I don't stream as much. With where I live, it's just, today it was like 105 degrees. And even with AC on during the day in my back office, the way it's like positioned, it gets to be like 90 degrees in here. If I shut the doors, to do all that stuff. So it's just pretty unpleasant. So typically, my streaming schedule is a little bit different in the off seasons there. All right, cool. So we got the lobby code and let's fire it off. Join with code. Make sure there's a spec slot. No problem. Hey, Ed, thank you for the donation, man. Yeah. Hell yeah. It's got to be a fun night. So let's find the lobby, join with code. And this should be an interesting one. It's Battle of the Cheeks. That's a good lobby name right there. That's pretty funny. But it's going to be, oh, hold on. I need to get out and join as a spectator. Spec slot. I don't think there is a spec slot on that game. Let me just double check that. Refresh list, join with code. Okay. Yeah, we'll refresh that. I couldn't own a PC in California. The extra heat is unwarranted. Yeah, it's pretty hot. It's pretty savage here. I was in Tennessee for a couple weeks, and as an Alaskan, those 90 to 100 degrees temps. Yeah, and it's probably more humid out there, right? I would imagine. Yeah, I would wager so. Okay, let's see if I can find that lobby now. I know what the lobby is called. Great, and we're in as a spectator, and this should be quite a bit of fun. I'm very excited to see. So like I said, we have that huge tournament this weekend, and it's going to be a faction war, man. We got 25 factions in it. We have one bonus faction because it's kind of a tradition for my old school faction wars to have not an off-meta faction, but a sub-faction. We don't really have them in Warhammer 3, so this time around, it's going to be really fun. We actually have Aerocrastic making a bit of a comeback, and he's going to be playing the Demons of Slaanesh. So he's going to be playing Demons of Chaos, but with an extreme restriction that he can only play Demons of Slaanesh, which is really funny. He's going to be at a huge disadvantage. But yeah, it should be interesting. It should be interesting for sure. So now we just need to wait for his opponent to get here, and we should be able to fire it off. It is go time. I'm in Florida, it's hell right now. Oh yeah, I can only imagine. Because not only do you get heat, right, but you get humidity. At least the one upside of where I am is that you don't really have humidity at all. It's very dry heat, which I massively prefer over humidity. Humidity is just suffering. Like, everything's so heavy and just, oh God, it's rough. Have you ever seen the movie Dragon Slayer? I haven't, no. I'd be interested to check that out. Just rewatched the old Pacific Rim today. That was a fun one. Kaijus and, the Jaegers. Super fun. I don't know. Yeah, my wife and I were talking about it. Why don't they make more movies like that? It's so good. Like, who doesn't want to just see Godzilla fighting King Kong or, a giant mech fighting, these aliens? Like, that's what it's all about. Everybody likes that. Everybody likes that for sure. All right, let me double check, make sure everybody's got their opponents. Gonna refresh. No admin issues, I don't think. We're going to check the tournament chat, make sure there's no drama there. And yeah, looking all right. Looking all right. First time I've ever donated. I've been watching videos for years. Hey, man, I appreciate that. Thank you, dude. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it should be a fun one tonight. Hopefully his opponent shows up. If he doesn't, I'll just play him for fun, and then we can get into the next round from there. So, yeah. Opponent awaits. Messaging. Let's get the lobby code out. I actually know who his opponent is, so I can send that. Maybe he didn't mean to check in and he's going to be AFK. Who knows? Hopefully he's here. This matchup is going to be what? So looking at the matchup while we wait. Okay. Let's see what he's saying. Aces. We're all set. Okay, his opponent is going to be coming. So it's going to be Tomb Kings versus High Elves in our first game. The map is going to be Galbaraz, which is classic. So if you guys don't know Conquest mode, it's kind of the evolution of land battle in a way. There's a capture point. So it's kind of like, remember in old school Shogun multiplayer, they had capture points. Granted, it was different. In Shogun, they just gave you like bonuses. Like there was like a shrine and like a blacksmith. It's not like that. Basically, the idea with this game mode, and we haven't had too many tournaments with it, so I don't know the nuances of like the extreme, pushing it to the extreme. But regardless, there's a capture point, and if you're able to sit on that capture point for 8 minutes and 30 seconds, you win the game. That's a long time. Uncontested, you have to own it for, not uncontested, you have to fully own the objective for 8 minutes and 30 seconds to win here. Old World Tourney tomorrow, wish me luck. Hey, good luck. Good luck, Josh. I believe in you, man. Sigmar blesses you. Just make sure you bring a fat steam tank and you'll be all right. Those are the coolest things. A lot of cool things. A lot of Hollywood studios don't understand the audience, just want to watch. Yeah, big things fighting. I know. It's great. It's really good. All right. So Tomb Kings versus High Elves. I know, obviously, how this matchup goes in Domination. I know that, I suspect I know he's an Imrik enjoyer. So there could be a big old Imrik. And I wonder if Housecat's going to go for one of the more common Tomb King playstyles I've been running into quite a bit in my ladder experience, which has been double Boner Giant. But the one thing about double Boner Giant, though, is it can struggle to deal with very wide armies. So sometimes if you go double Bone Giant, your opponent doesn't bring any good SE targets. You can get kind of just grinded down, and the Bone Giants will generate minimal value. So I'm curious about that. Granted, I do still think a big monster is good against Tomb Kings with regrowth, and considering we're like the traditional, the land battle tournaments that are often run have used the fruit rules, which is a great rule system. But they have much more strict restrictions on items and abilities. For example, you can't bring duplicate spells. Like in Domination, it's very common, right? You see two Melkoths, or maybe you don't really see too much more. Maybe 2 Raised Dead for vampire counts. But in our tournament tonight, I'm trying to find a balance that's really simplistic, and you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Just, of course, we have some light restrictions. We have Skaven Doomflayers are restricted, the Thunderbarge is restricted, and Gyrocopters. I think that's basically it. So this opens up a lot of weird forbidden play from everyone, which is going to be fun. One day the extra faction will be Nurgle, and it will come down to 2 Toad Dragons. Yeah. That'll be the dreaded Toad Dragon Grand Finals. Yes, yes. Perfect. All right. So very excited for this. These are 2 great players, and it's kind of a culture clash here, right? You have Black here, who is, I believe, a very solid land battle player. I've watched a little bit of land battle off and on like Dov's channel, and I'll check out Human Boy's streams every now and then when he does his. And I know Housecat is a top tier Dom player. It'll be curious to see how he brings his Tomb Kings into a different setting. I don't know. Maybe he does play a lot of land battle or Conquest on the side. You never know. Culture clash. It's gonna be a cool pump for this. Yeah, it's gonna be a great night. Thank you guys all for joining. We're just getting started, man. We're just getting started. And yeah, for anybody who's watching this VOD back, I apologize ahead of time to all of my European homies. We will be getting back to earlier streams once the weather cools down towards the end of August and September. So from there, it'll be very normal. We'll have, 3 to 5 streams again a week, and it'll be more normal. So again, my apologies for that. Can you key us in? Yeah, so here's the thing. In land battle, some of the more powerful factions are, it's kind of like Tzeentch, right? For example, because in a land battle setting where you only have player enforced attacking rules, you can really kind of play the gray area of those by attacking from across the map with certain units or whatever, or obeying the attacking rules in a minimalistic way. and taking advantage of, you know, high winds of magic generation and spells and shield regen. So the Ancient Demons of Chaos are insanely good in land battle. They've always been really tyrannical. But this game mode, it could be different. Nobody really knows what the meta looks like here. I do think as far as like Total War games go, obviously having some sort of an objective to make players fight kind of makes it into a proper RTS of sorts. So I'm curious to see how this plays out tonight. There's also a really interesting nuance I've noticed about this game mode. So obviously there's no attacking rules, right? The only thing that makes the players attack is the objective, which of course you can win the game off. I would say about 20% of my games are won by the objective, maybe like 15%, even less on this game mode. It usually just comes down to a classic battle, but we do have an Emmerich. Of course, you can't leave home without Big Daddy. And double Ushapti Great Bow, Sepulchral Stalkers, as well as the Camarine War Sphinx, recently buffed monster, which is quite good. But here's the thing, if you get really far ahead on the objective, right, and then let's say you're up 400 and your opponent has none, that gives you like 400 seconds to just kind of kite your opponent, right? So that's time where you don't really need to obey the traditional attacking rules. You can pull back, you can generate your winds of magic, and it's a really it's something to get used to for sure. It's definitely something. All right, guys, let's get this party started. Hopefully you're all doing well, and we're back to the old school here a little bit, as we have Black facing off against House Cat of War in the first round of our 5-round tournament tonight. So in total, we'll be casting 7 games and 5 rounds of regulations and semis and grand finals. So it should be fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, taking a look at the build here for the High Elves, it is going to be Emmerich. And no surprises here. This man is the Terminator. Emmerich is capable of killing pretty much any of the big Tomb King's threats. Vulnerable, of course, against Bone Giants, some of Ushapti Great Bow Focus Fire. But with good micro and regrowth, you might be able to mitigate those. And I do like this tech actually coming in from Black. He does have an Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower. Only 1, it looks like. Maybe 2, just 1. Okay. So that will keep the Ushapti Great Bows honest. It can put some respectable pressure on them over the course of a long game, or, you know, go after an SE if needed. But yeah, Emmerich is going to need a lot of micro. You're going to have to juke that bad boy back and forth, mitigate the amount of damage he takes from Spirit Leech and Ushapti Great Bows. And if he can mitigate that Focus Fire, you know, he can carry the game and win. He's very strong. So we got Archers in the secondary. Not bad at just melting light armor and just pressuring your opponent, especially if there are going to be some Nehekar Warriors. In the backfield, we got Reavers, Fireborn, the new and improved Fireborn, of course. So these are the ROR coming off the 5.1 patch. They now have a ton of our AP, so they're really good against a multitude of targets. That was a huge buff to the High Elves, and it is going to be Reavers aside from that. Now, looking at the forces of the House Cat of War, we have NC facing off against RTK. Should be fun. Eyes of the Desert for House Cat of War are going to be propped up towards the objective to do some initial poking and try and ambush. Arc of the Black lurking in the back. Only Fate of Buna. Interesting. No Spirit Leech. I always feel like the Spirit Leech is worth the money. But Buna will be good against High Elves. You're probably just going to use it on the Fireborn. But yeah, Spirit Leech, I feel like it's clutch for finishing off something that gets low. He might regret not taking Spirit Leech. Camarine War Sphinx is a good answer against infantry, as are the Ushapti Arwars, the chosen of the gods. So they should be able to put some pepper down. And we do have the Ushapti Great Bows here. And that appears to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck to these mighty champions, and let us see how this all goes. The game will begin, and the objective, unlike domination mode, it takes 1 minute to open up, so players have a little bit of time to move up on the point. It won't open right away. That would favor some factions for sure, if you could just Vanguard on top of it and take it right away. But yeah, the battle is underway. Objective will open in 57 seconds. Now it's going to be interesting to see how the players engage. The Tomb King's no holds barred is going to be moving up. Yeah, the War Cats are really good. Camarine War Sphinxes after patch 5.1, something about the way they move and attack really benefited from the impact hits. I've been using Cetra on the War Sphinx and the basic ones in my Tomb Kings games on ladder, which I've been playing quite a bit. And yeah, it's pretty good. It's no joke. All right. So, the Duel of Fates begins. The armies of the Tomb Kings advance towards the objective, so both players immediately going to be moving up on the point. A little bit of lag. It's peer-to-peer, you know, Total War stuff, but honestly not too bad. And here on the flanks, we do have some Illyrian Reavers circling around the outside. This is going to be really big for Black if he's able to get these Illyrian Reavers around the outside and somehow dominate the Nehekar Horsemen, which isn't easy. In a straight-up fight, Nehekar Horsemen will defeat a Reaver. Reavers, of course, are a lot faster with 90 speed against 78. And frontline fighting is going to be underway, and Black is going to be using his focus fire from his archers to start whittling down the skeletons. Looks like Big Daddy Emmerich is maybe looking to, Arkin penetrating into the secondary. This is getting a little bit wild here. He could get, there's no nets on the High Elves here. It looks like he's going to be dropping a skeleton summon. That must have been a misclick from House Cat of War. Uh-oh. House Cat's getting Arkin the Black hunted. That is really, really not good. If Arkin gets picked here, that is going to be an absolute disaster. We see the Star Lance activated from Black, and he is able to get some respectable damage in, but he only connected once, which is a little bit unfortunate for him. In the meantime, the Ushabti are in the trees, focus firing into what appears to be some of the basic archers. Objective soon going to be captured. And on the side, we have a bit of a duel of fates. This is going to be a bit of a micro-tax for these players. The Nehekar Horseman chasing down the Reavers. Will Black be able to kind of get them up and around using his superior speed to outmaneuver? That really is going to be the question here. Now, big breath attack coming in from the Dragon. That is going to be melting into the Eyes of the Desert. And the Fireborn coming in as well, but Housecat of War gets a really, really nice Fate of Buna on those Fireborn right there. So they definitely take some fat damage. There is going to be a response of a Regrowth going down. So not going to be used on Imric immediately. He doesn't need it. So Regrowth going down to the Fireborn, and Black trying to stabilize those. If he can at the very least trade the Fireborn for the Eyes of the Desert, you know, get something out of it with Imric's support, not going to be the worst thing in the world. On the backside, we do see some Skeleton Horsemen being rode down by the Reavers, a couple of spears penetrating into the secondary, and the High Elves are hanging in there. They're up in value, but remember the healing going into play here for the forces of the High Elves is going to play a big factor, as the Fireborn are stabilizing to an extent. We do see the Eyes of the Desert starting to crumble. In the secondary, a lot of cab pressure coming in from Black. He does have the Reavers moving in, and this is a really not a good situation for Housecat. You do not want to be running away with your Ushabti Great Bow. Yeah, you want them obviously shooting, and here the Reavers going to be penetrating into the secondary here and tar pitting those Ushabti. Now in a straight fight, the Ushabti might win that eventually, but they're going to take a lot of damage, and having them tied up is going to allow a lot of time for the other High Elf assets. In the meantime, Housecat causing absolute havoc in the secondary. Oh my goodness. So I did not see this. We were focused on the Imric epicenter of battle, but King Nukesh's Scorpion Legion, as well as the Khemrian War Sphinx, route off two archers, a Skeleton Spear chasing down the Bolt Thrower, which is going to be running away. And here we do see the Ushabti summon coming out for Housecat of War being dropped on top of the archers. Now, as far as the objective goes, the objective is owned by the High Elves. Tomb Kings are in a bit more of a kiting posture at this point. The High Elves have kind of an anchor of infantry here. I wonder if Housecat, his domination instincts will kick in. Is he going to start trying to contest the objective here? Find out on today's episode of Dragon Ball Z. But all the archers are getting wrecked here in the backfield by Housecat's Khemrian War Sphinx. Arc of the Black is still cackling and very much alive. Imric in the secondary is going after the Ushabti Great Bows, which is a big win for Black. He is going to get a lot of value here, taking down those Great Bows. The Eyes of the Desert are gone. Imric is looking pretty healthy too. And do we see another Ushabti Great Bow alive? We do. We do see the ROR still alive in the trees. A couple units of Nehekar Horsemen and one Spear are able to defend that. But this is a very close knockdown, drag-out game. Both players are losing a lot. In the backfield, the archers that the High Elves are taking offline. Here we do see the Bolt Thrower running for the hills. Middle objective, of course, owned by the High Elves, but he needs to hold it for like another 6 or 7 minutes in order to win this. And this battle will probably be over by then. So it is doing its job of making the players fight. That is for sure. Nehekar Horsemen screaming across after the Reavers, and the Skeleton Spear is going to be advancing up to provide a little bit of support. Imric certainly has the right idea, and I'm rapidly starting to feel as if, even though the High Elves or the Tomb Kings have a fair amount left on the battlefield, I'm starting to feel as if the Imric tax might not be able to be paid. And that if Imric is able to get rid of the Ushabti Great Bows, there's no Spirit Leech, there's no, big anti-monster tech here. I don't really know how Housecat of War is going to be able to effectively deal with Big Papa. He's cackling a little bit too hard, and that's where maybe you want things like Boner Giants, although, I don't know, the Bone Giants could have been shut down in a pretty similar fashion as well. So good penetration into the secondary. The Chosen of the Gods going to be fleeing the scene. High Elves are holding on to the point. And here we do see the Fireborn of Black rear charging into the Nehekar Warriors. A very, very good choice. And man, I'm really shocked that these guys survived. They looked like their bread was going to be buttered very, very early on in the game. But they're still at half health. They have half their model, so their fighting capacity is very, very damn respectful. And Black has been microing like an absolute God King over here by running away with those Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower crews. That could, in land battle, that's big, right? You're going to be able to bring those back in towards the end of the game, get them back on that Bolt Thrower, and that's going to be even more value for you. But there is a lot of Tomb King's infantry left. We got spears, but is anything capable of killing Imric? I guess there is a Khemrian War Sphinx still very much online. The victory tickets are ticking up here for the High Elves, and in the backfield there is going to be a Fate of Buna going down on top of the Fireborn. Not a bad one, but I do think the High Elves kind of have this game. I really, really don't see any avenue that Imric can be dealt with. I mean, tar pitting him with spears, maybe, but, Housecat needs to get on the objective, and he's not really paying attention to it too much. His domination instincts need to kick in, even though he still has another, let's see, so 4 minutes and 30 seconds left before the victory, give or take. You still want to, not lose on the objective. So moving on and starting to fight there is going to be pretty big. We do see Arc of the Black. Oh, that's not good for the old Tomb Kings right there. I think this is the beginning of the end where Black starts to take over the game. The bounce power is pretty massively in his favor at this point, and Arc of the Black is getting his bread buttered. Granted, The Fireborn take a lot of damage. The regrowth might be able to kind of help stabilize them. We'll have to see. The big War Sphinx is moving in, and House Cat of War is now starting to fight on the objective, going after the Spearmen. And where are his other Spearmen going to be going? Khmer War Sphinx is going to be charging over here, trying to lend its aid to the battle, but Imric is just going balls deep here today, baby. He's getting big, big damage. Ark in the Black is just running and cackling and being an evil Skeletor, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to save old Skeletor, as he does retreat back. And Imric is going to be on full retreat from the Khmer War Sphinx. Not because he can't win that fight, because there's spears nearby. He doesn't want to get caught in that situation. High Elves are going to get their Bolt Thrower back online. We do have a lot of archers coming in for the High Elves as well. Bounce of Power is pretty massively in the favor of the High Elves. He would have to throw pretty hard. And honestly, I think if Black uses a regrowth on top of Imric, that is going to almost tilt the Bounce of Power to army losses. That type of a heal would be pretty big. He still has some cavalry in the backfield as well. Tomb Kings do have the Sphinx. A lot of skeletons, but there's just going to be perpetual hunting. And yeah, Arkan gets tagged again, and any hopes of a comeback are going to quickly diminish here, as Arkan is not the type of character who can carry a game against the big man, right? So Starlance is active. The big Khmer War Sphinx is going to be charging in. We have our Kaiju battle, but Imric will 100% win this. The War Sphinx is a respectable SE fighter, but its stat line and its kind of design is more to deal with infantry. You know, granted, even like anti-infantry SEs can still fight big monsters, but they're not going to be quite as optimal. I also don't see an avenue with which the Tomb Kings are going to be able to get the High Elves off the objective. Bolt Thrower crew is still running. Spears are chasing down these skeletons. And ladies and gentlemen, this has got to be the beginning of the end here. High Elves have complete battlefield dominance via the objective. And on top of that, they're just winning on most parts of the battlefield. We do see the last of the Tomb Kings mobility being hunted down by the Reavers and the remnants of the Fireborn. So that's another pick right there. Victory tickets are getting there. And Ark of the Black does fall. And with that, the evil Necromancer has been banished by the mighty Chad Imric. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is probably going to be it. Army losses will be kicking in here relatively soon. Archers are back online. Imric's going to start wearing down the Sphinx. The Lord of Dragons calls in the deep. -24 and -40 here. Regrowth is probably going to trigger army losses. And just like, you guys have seen this in old school land battles, very common. It's going to be tilting the bounce power back up, and that will trigger the army losses. And that is going to be round 1 in today's tournament. Now, these games should be quicker. That's why we're going to be rocking 5 rounds here today. On Saturday, we're going to have a big old 5 or 6 hour stream of the Faction War, where we're going to be casting a ton of games. That is going to be absolutely insane. And yeah, Imric's going to be retreating back. House Cat of War making a valiant last stand here. And looking around the battlefield, I don't see too much more. Elven Cavalry on their way back in. The Bolt Thrower crew, somehow Palpatine has returned. Those things are alive. And back here, it is going to be the Khmer War Sphinx trying to chase down Imric. But alas, Imric is going to get away and cackle. And he could probably honestly just win on the objectives right now if he wanted to. Imric going to be dropping a big breath attack there, and it does tickle the pickle of that Khmer War Sphinx. So yeah, this game's over. There's nothing the High Elves can do to win this, or excuse me, the Tomb Kings can do to win this. I mean, they do have a couple spears, so they might be able to flip the objective, but it's only a matter of time. Because Imric has, on the inverse of it, Imric has another 7.5, 8 minutes of cycle charging he's allowed to do because of the agency they garnered by, holding the objective for so long. So that's very, very strong for sure. Yeah, Saturday is going to be crunk. So for those of you guys who haven't seen a Faction War, it's been a while since I've done one, but Conquest mode I like it a lot. Not having to have player-made attacking rules is a big win for me. And it's kind of rekindled my passion for doing more Conquest mode and Faction Wars and those type of traditional games. So very, very hyped for that for sure. Archers poking away, shooting into the spears, and we do have Imric getting a little bit beat up here, but yeah, the Bolt Thrower is going to get back online, right? I think Imric, it wouldn't be a terrible play for Imric to come over here and just crumble these skeleton spears real quick. Get that Bolt Thrower back online, and look at that. House Cat actually flips the objective. You didn't hear no bell, dude. House Cat is an absolute champion, and yeah, he gets it back, but I don't know. Is there some weird avenue where House Cat could actually win this game? That would be absolutely nuts. So he's moving in with the Sphinx, and the spears are chasing down the Bolt Thrower crew, and now these spears are going to be moving over here. There's no way. Like, Imric should be able to trigger army losses soon with some proper charges, but something we do for the Faction War, which is coming up on Saturday, if you guys aren't in the Discord, it's called Faction War Match Madness. So much like March Madness in basketball that many of you have probably seen, we're going to be running a bracket prediction. So I'll release the bracket tomorrow, and then if you guys submit your bracket with your predictions, and whoever has the best prediction is going to be winning a cash prize. Usually we do like $25, $50 cash prize or a Steam gift card or something. It's very fun if you guys want to get into that. So here, we do see the spear starting to crumble down, and that means the High Elves are going to get the Bolt Thrower back online, which is going to be a disaster. The Tomb King spears are hanging out here, and looking around the battlefield, yeah, not much left. House Cat fighting to the bitter end. He still has his Sphinx. But yeah, Emmerich is just going to be too much, I think, right? Army losses is going to have to kick in here. These spears are crumbling. The bolt thrower crew is moving back towards the bolt right now. Looks like maybe some of the spears are thinking about moving over to the bolt thrower, but the bolt thrower can honestly just go spray fire mode here, right? So he just goes, he puts it on spray fire, and he starts spraying his hot load all over these skeleton spears here, and that should do the trick. But man, Housecat is clearing out a lot. He's getting these terror routes and these basic breaks around, and maybe he's going to be able to shatter a couple units. He does have the Howdah on there as well, so the Khemrian War Sphinx, really, really good performer this game, about 2,000 value. Yeah, I'm paying for itself and more. It does have that Howdah poke. I mean, in some weird Bizarro universe, maybe it could take on Emmerich. I don't think so, though. His HP is 5. Emmerich has 2,000 more HP. He could charge that. Emmerich could also just start breath attacking if he has any ammunition left. And you see what I'm saying about that effort? Right? Using and keeping these bolt throwers online that whole game, waddling around the map and just saving every morsel of value you possibly can to come back in and start shooting at these guys is the difference maker, right? So we do see Chadrick is going to be pouncing. And the Fireborn also heard Nobel, 1,100 value on them. Pretty good considering the amount of DACA and damage they took. Bolt fire going into the Skeleton Spearmen, and they're going to start crumbling down. High Elf Bolt Throwers, also one of the better artillery pieces in Tabletop. Very, very good. Normally, artillery in Tabletop has to deal with misfires, but Bolt Throwers are just like a to-hit roll, and they're very consistent. They do pretty good work, especially the Elven ones. But Skeleton Spears are getting crumbled down. That should be army losses soon, like very soon. That's another 600 gold in the can as Chadrick is able to get the point back. Man, what a knockdown drag-out game we've had in our first match today. Very happy to have like such a good showcase of the game mode here in our first match between these two mighty champions. Mage of Life is going, and yeah, she's going to be trying to get her Pimp Cane and maybe do some damage against the War Sphinx. War Sphinx is pretty awesome, and these players could meet later on in the tournament as well. If Housecat manages to win his next 4 matches, that means he's potentially going to make top 4 still. So how it works is we play 5 rounds of regulation, and then from there, players will go to the top 4 depending on the circumstances. Fireborn moving in, and that's going to be army losses. We see the critical binding. He's sitting at negative 55 leadership. That's going to be some rapid disintegration. And game 1, going on over to the High Elves and Black, showing some really, really clean High Elf play. Awesome Tomb King's play as well. Housecat probably isn't as familiar with Land Battle and Conquest, but showing some really good chops here, competing with a great player and putting up an excellent fight. So that was very, very fun. GG, well played. All right, so value for the game. Arkan did fine. I think Cetra on the Sphinx is probably maybe a little bit safer because he can fight back against those things. So maybe you go like Cetra and you bring the Usirian's Incantation of Vengeance instead of Buna, use that on the heavy cavalry, and then use the extra money elsewhere. I'm not sure. Yeah, Ushabti Greatbows got shut down pretty hard. And the Sepulchral Stalkers got karate chopped. And you notice that Black I felt like he knew in the back of his head, if he takes down anything that can threaten Emmerich, he'll just win the game. And that's kind of what happened. But Housecat made it very, very scrappy there. So GG, well played. Yeah, and now the players just need to report the scores on Total Tavern, and we might be pretty close to the next round. That was a very sweaty one. All right, so how are we looking? Yeah, that was one of the last games. So this format is much quicker. So we'll be jumping into games very, very fast. Yes. Let's get it, man. Yeah, it's really cool. I'm very happy Creative Assembly made this. I have legit been playing ladder again because you don't have to worry about being draw kited or attacking rules, any of that kind of stuff. Goji, what happened to you, man? I'm casting today, so we're just casting today. I wanna get used to casting the format, so that's what we're doing. We're doing it. That Foot Mage did survive to the bitter end. I don't know who's playing Dark Elves tonight. I'm not sure. That was a really good match, though. And looks like we'll refresh. And yeah, so we just have Dr. Jellyfish playing versus Tag. And that is the last game. And we started the tournament at 8 o'clock. So it's been half an hour. Players have another 15 minutes of regulation. And we will move. Oh, okay, got it. So Dr. Jellyfish, I will drop him. You get one. All right, so his opponent wasn't responding for 20 minutes. So yeah, we're actually ready for the next round right now. So all is good in the neighborhood. So the player who you just saw playing the High Elves, Black, he is going to be playing... he's playing the Dark Elves in this weekend's Faction War tournament. So you're going to be seeing some really good Dark Elf play this weekend. Clearly, we've had a nice little preview of that, right? All right, so just got to do this and drop you, and then we advance. Yeah, Storm Sinew, good times, man, good times. Yeah, demons are tough. They're a tough action in land battle. Well, Conquest modem. I got to start calling it. This is Conquest. It's different. All right, so Dr. Jellyfish should get his point, and now we advance the Swiss. So let me refresh this, and we're going to be starting round 2. Do you think it's possible for me to cast the game with no pop culture references? Yeah, I think it's possible. Definitely not easy. I am a millennial. But yeah. So let's advance the Swiss to the next round and move it up. So we do have a little small prize tonight. Nothing big, but a $25 gift card, a Steam card. So there's a little prize. Just wanted to kind of get some folks out to see. And now we are going to be in round 2 fight. All right, so Beaver is going to be getting this. So let me give you your point. And now we need to tag all the goblins and let them know. Round 2 is live. Good luck, have fun. And let's go find a game to cast. So we cast the High Elf game. Let's get a little bit of faction diversity going and cast some other goodness here. So next up, what will we be casting? We could do a Goji game. We could do a little Goji, a little greenskin action could be fun. We have Slaanesh versus High Elves, but I don't want to cast that because we just did a High Elf game. We could do Pigman. Pigman apparently played some good Demons of Chaos. Let's do Dr. Jellyfish's game. That could be fun. Yeah, I like that. All right. So let's talk to Dr. Jellyfish. Dr. Jellyfish. Hey. Casting your game. Lobby code, please. So this is going to be Demons of Chaos versus something. Another player who obviously won their first, round match. Let's give him his point for the bye round and go from there. Yeah. Any Skaven players? There was a couple checked that signed up initially, but I don't know if they checked in. Hadries was going to be playing today. How the hell am I supposed? Is his name Hadries or Hadries? I always wonder which one's correct. I'm going to have to ask him. I've heard it said by multiple casters in a couple different ways. But yeah, we'll get to the bottom of it eventually. All right, so the round is live. Everybody's hitting each other up. Looks good. And let's do it to it. So this is going to be Demons of Chaos for something or other. Some evil, evil schemes. And yeah, so we need a spec slot. And we'll get it up. That's what she said. That is what she said. Yeah, Demons of Chaos here. So I suspect we'll see some foul Karanak, some Zine stuff. And we'll do it to it. We will do it to it. All right, so it looks like, Lizardmen. Okay, so it's going to be Lizardmen. And what are the map? Lizardmen versus Tomb Kings. Okay, another Tomb Kings game. That's okay. It's a fun matchup. And we will do, the map is going to be Horned Hills. All right, so I'll let them know. They got the map. Okay, no drama. Don't need to worry about that. And now we got Tomb Kings versus Lizards. Curious to see who's going to be emerging tonight. Some of the factions we have Tomb Kings, we have Slaanesh, we have Lizards, we have Warriors of Chaos, High Elves, Slaanesh, High Elves again, Grand Cathay, Bretonia, Dark Elves, Demons of Chaos, Vampire Counts. I'm trying to think who else. It's hard to check. Yeah, another Cathay player as well. I think there's an Empire player too. We'll get to the bottom of it. I thought he was playing... no, Demons of Chaos was... Wait, did I... Yeah, we didn't do the Demons of Chaos game. We're going to do that later. Yeah, we're doing Tomb Kings versus Lizards right now. Close enough. Warhammer needs a llama faction. Llamas, they're South American creatures, right? Like Peru? Isn't that where they... Am I wrong about that? Somebody's going to have to let me know. Surprised there aren't more Wood Elves. Yeah, any given Sunday. I was going to play Chorfs. Chorfs would have been fun to play. They're my favorite. I love just getting some Chowie artillery, some Death Shriek rocket launchers, and I had a really good tabletop game with Chaos Dwarves the other day against my buddy. The Chaos Dwarves and tabletop are super fun. Really fun faction. One of my favorites to play so far. You have like really stalwart kind of dwarf infantry that have good shooting. You have good artillery. You got some cool monsters. It's a blast. You saw llamas today? Oh yeah, they're cool. There's actually a fair amount of them in my town where I live. There's a couple people who keep them. You can see them around. They're cool creatures. I had a friend who had one growing up, and he used to spit on him all the time, if memory serves. Yeah, they can be nasty little guys. How goes the game's good. We're on game 2. Lizardmen on alpacas. Yeah, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. It is a fantasy universe, after all. It is. I'm almost done extra donuts. I would say probably August. I thought it would be July originally, but the Chaos Dwarves, I literally just need to paint like 5 more models and they're fully done. The Bull Centaur renders and the Orc War boss. And when that's done, it's time to start filming some battle reports. Because I'll have 4 full armies and we can cycle between them. From Fantasy or AOS in general would benefit from a Tyranid Swarm Insectoid faction. That could have been an interesting take for Games Workshop. You know, like instead of the end times, they keep fantasy going, but they introduce a new threat. Like a subterranean kind of scary, you know, insectoid race or something. Like a swarming one. That's kind of the Skaven's MO. Maybe they'd have to come from space, but then that gets really weird, you know. The Skaven wouldn't want to share the underground, I would imagine. Scotch was the other way around, but the llama spat on him. Yeah. Cheers from Peru. We do have llamas here, mainly in the mountains. Right on. Oh, you're from Peru. That's cool, man. One of my good friends has been there a couple times. He loves it. He said it's some of the best food he's ever had. What are like the main staples of Peruvian cuisine? Like what are the go-tos? I know about the cuy, but aside from that, like if you're going to go to like a fancy Peruvian restaurant, what kind of food are they going to serve you? Like what are the go-to, the cultural representations? Not even fancy, but you know, the people's food. What's the most common stuff? Hey, Brad, welcome. I can't hide from you. Dune will be back. Yeah, I'm just like, man, I really want them to do a patch for that game to give spectator mode. It's really frustrating trying to host like good quality tournaments in Dune when you don't even have a spectator mode, you know? It's janky. Could always introduce a threat from the deep oceans. Yeah, that would be really cool. That'd be really cool. Like a benthic faction. Some sort of a, kind of like the, yeah, from Warcraft 3. You could do a similar thing. Guinea pig, yeah, the Kui. Old world Tyranids. Ironically, like, Tyranids are pretty scary, right? But that's like one faction that, I don't know, maybe if you reduce their numbers, some fantasy races could actually fight against. Goji wants to do Dune again. They're ready. Okay, Goji's ready for it. I'm waiting to see the answers about the Peruvian food. Nothing yet. A lot of potato with good sauces on it. Okay, fair play. Hey, Orange Pest, how you doing, man? Is Dune getting patched anymore? I don't know. My one concern is that they were really just making a big push for Dune because of the movies, and then to capitalize on the hype, and then they just kind of were like, screw it, and just kind of stop patching it. I hope that's not the case because it's a really good game. There's just it just needs a little bit of life breathed into it, you know. All right, the battle is starting. Tomb Kings versus the Lizardmen. We got Orange Pest in chat. He's one of the greatest co-players of all time. Been playing some Total War scheming. By the way, Pest, this format's pretty fun. Since there's an objective, I think you would like it, as well as domination mode. They're both great. Potatoes absolutely everywhere. Yeah, I know Peru has like a big potato culture, which is right up my alley. My Irish ancestors would approve. Great food. One dish as well known as anticucho. It's cow's heart. Wow, we have potatoes and a lot of them. Ceviche. Yeah, ceviche is great. I bet you that's solid. We've been using our adult cheat codes, which have been air fryers recently. That's like the cheat code to being an adult in cooking. Oh my God, it's nuts. Absolutely nuts. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in round 2 of our tournament. Jepardo. I don't know if I'm saying that name right. Jepardors. Maybe close. We are going to get another Tomb King game, but instead of the cowardly Ark in the Black, it is going to be the Chad Cetra the Imperishable. And like I said, I think Cetra is an absolute tyrant right now, and he's got some good abilities, but mainly he's got the spell, which is very good. Usirian's Incantation of Vengeance is really cost-effective damage. It only costs 9 WOM compared to Buna, which is like, what, 22? Of course, it doesn't do as much damage, but it also slows and does a respectable amount of damage, which I like that spell. It's less all-in, and yeah, quite strong indeed. All right, in the backfield, we do have the Chosen of the Gods and Basic Ushapti to take down big dinosaurs, and the newly buffed Melee Shopti. So the Melee Shopti are pretty rad. They do have a bonus for his infantry increase in patch 5.1, so good against Saurus and skinks and things like that. No Tomb Kings player ever leaves home without the Arwar Sepulchral Stalkers. They are really good with their freaking laser beams they shoot out of their eyes, so if you want to put some hurt down into some of the big flyers, they will be doing your thing. Now, looking at the forces of Dr. Jellyfish, representing Sons of the Mountain, a very, very cool clan in Total War. A lot of Polish players over there. He might be Polish as well, staying up late. I don't know. But he does have Oxyotl. And yeah, I mean, Oxyotl is good at poking something over the course of a 10-minute game. So you put him down on top of Cetra, you set him in the back, and, you know, you prosper, which is going to be quite good. Temple Guard, Saurus Warriors, Clever Girls in the back. Clever Girls are actually a very respectable answer against Ushapti since they're monster-sized and they have good AP. They're really, really good against Ushapti. A couple Cold One Spear Riders, or Cold One Riders, just basic variant. Colossedon Hunters for some anti-large, and talk about an effective tool at killing the Ushapti and various other big targets. So a very aggressive build. There's a little bit of shooting via the Umbral Tide. I like this. They're stock and they do fire damage, have anti-large, so great stuff against the Ushapti if they can close the distance. And the Lizards are going to be chilling out. One of the last questions from chat before I focus fully in the game. Have I ever been to Turin? No, I have not. I have not. Even though my ancestors are from that part of the world. Northern Italy and Ireland is mostly my heritage, but... yeah, someday maybe, man. Someday maybe. All right, so a little bit of poke. Remember, the players don't need to bum rush the objective. Oxyotl, oh, the Master Predator, dude. He is super stealth and super sneaky, so he's unspottable with snipe. So Oxyotl, look at this, guys. We have Oxyotl hiding in the bushes here with his 20% range, poking into the Chosen of the Gods of Japardors, and... so far, Japardors is mainly shooting at the Skinks here, which I don't know how much I love that decision. I think moving up maybe 2 Skeleton Spears to just secure the objective, and then just kind of playing the waiting game and wait for the Tomb Kings to come to you would be a little bit of a cleaner play. We do have Oxyotl, and I mean, this little goblin here, Oxyotl is going to be able to get this eventually. Dude, I love this. Look at him. Look how adorable he is. He's hiding in the bushes with his blow dart. Oh, yes. Oh, he's going to do the animation. He did the thing. And he shoots the blow darts, and honestly, pretty Chad performance so far. Oxyotl has killed the Ushapti. He's brought them down to a fairly low amount of health, but it's a big mistake for Dr. Jellyfish to not grab this objective, because that's what's going to force your opponent forward, unless he wants to drag the game out longer, in which case he could just kind of poke, right? So we will see, but I don't really, I don't see any downside of taking this. I really don't, because the Tomb Kings have a superior range force. Oh my god, is this what I think it is? We have the Chameleon Stalkers in the bushes. I don't know if they got buffed in patch 5.1. They've always considered to be pretty terrible. Granted, in Conquest format, they can deploy, behind your opponent, and Vanguard is a lot more heavy duty in Conquest and Land Battle, so you're able to deploy back here and get extra sneaky. But now he's starting to steal the objective, and the Tomb Kings don't want that, right? So they're going to be moving up some spears. I think it behooves the Lizards to get it and hold on to it, because you want to force the Tomb Kings to come up and fight you to the best of your abilities, right? So that objective should be captured here in a second, and that is going to be setting forward the 8-minute and 30-second timer. So now the Tomb Kings need to attack soon-ish. I mean, typically I've seen games where you can harass and poke your opponent. This is kind of a school of thought with this new game mode, is that you can take maybe 5 minutes to kite your opponent and poke them and, not do a straight-up engagement, but use magic and your range units. But there will come a crunch time in which you need to go bunker bust that objective, right? So that is going to be very big. And on the other side, we see Usirion's Incantation coming down for Japardors, and the Colossedon Hunters are going to be fleeing. They are slowed right now, seeing the speed at 50. That spell is very, very cost-effective. And have they been discovered? The Chameleon Stalkers of Dr. Jellyfish have been discovered. Probably going to have a bad time. What's going to happen is Cetra is going to turn around and just go balls deep and take them out. And unfortunately, they did kind of waste their precursor ammo. I don't think you can actually control that. I think they just kind of randomly throw it. But, yep, here comes Cetra. Oh, he's got to deal with this. You don't want to let those Ushapti take free damage. Chadiotl is going to be moving in. The Master Predator is here. And what is he going to be poking? I think he's the only one we really need to focus on. What is he shooting? Okay, he's going after the Ushapti, I think. He doesn't have an attack order right now. Actually going to get caught up in melee. So the Lizards have taken clutches, their clutches on the objective here. We see the Temple Guard moving up as well as the Saurus Warriors. And here we do have the Feral Cold Ones getting ready to party as well. And now the frontline fighting has happened. So, obviously in, the objective is working. So far it's been working really good in these first 2 games for making the players fight. Otherwise, there's, you could just kite and poke for indefinitely, essentially, without player-made rules. Usirion's Incantation of Vengeance going down, and it does get some really good value. Cetra's going to be getting in, and he is just an absolute fighter on this thing. He is going to get in there. He's going to do some huge DPS against the Cold One. That is brutal, and it looks like Dr. Jellyfish is going to be swarming into the secondary using his Colossedon Hunters to swarm in on the Chosen of the Gods, and that is going to be some DPS for sure. Kind of a worst-case scenario for the Tomb Kings here. You don't want these brutal anti-large fighters just ripping apart your Chosen of the Gods, and on top of that, Dr. Jellyfish does get some Cold One cavalry, so cracking open a Cold One with the boys. moving in here, getting the Chosen of the Gods to start crumbling. Cetra and some spears are trying to crumble, but honestly going to be leading to a pretty bad situation here for the Tomb Kings. Now, back in the mainline fighting, we do see the value favoring Japardors right now. Perhaps some good fights going on elsewhere on the battlefield. That is going to be the Colossadon Hunters dying. Obviously, a super pricey unit, so that's a big win for the Tomb Kings. And he does break those cavalry off. Oxyotl not really getting too much done right now, just kind of looking for an engagement. He does have Master Predator pop still. Looks like he's trying to work his way back to the Ushabti. And here in the battle lines, we do have the Umbral Tide, so the Arawar Salamanders, shooting into the Khemrian War Sphinx. So, there was the second War Sphinx I did miss in my initial army assessment. Really good tool against the infantry, and what kind of value are we seeing so far? About 500. It is fighting Temple Guard, which is a little bit of a dodgy fight for it, but against Saurus and Skinks and anything else, it's going to be performing extremely well. So here in the blob fight, Tomb Kings do have their melee Shopti trading very well. They are going to be getting buffed by Jazaf's Incantation of Cursed Blades, so that is going to trigger an army-wide heal for the Tomb Kings. Not a huge one, but still significant. And in the backfield is the Khemrian War Sphinx of Japardor is going to be switching over here to go after the Umbral Tide. I think it has to. That's, one of the few things on the battlefield for Dr. Jellyfish that is able to effectively deal with such a monster. And now I would imagine they're going to start kiting. And, one thing it's looking like here for the Lizards is they just don't have the answers to deal with the two Sphinxes, right? Like, Oxyotl's cool and all. Like, he can poke down these targets, and he did manage to finish off those Ushabti here, which is a very Chad play. With his little blow dart gun. He gets that one down. These Ushabti Great Bows here potentially could be compromised. Yeah, a couple Coldland Riders came back from Rally, which is very big. If there's going to be any avenue back in the game, it's going to be, chipping down these Ushabti, which is some haggard beat-up units here in the backfield. But the Tomb King's monsters are rampaging pretty hard. The double War Sphinxes are no joke. And we do get the Ushabti summoned back here on top of these units. And now Cetra is going to be trying to add an expiration date and make the Skink Priest perish. And looks like he is fleeing through the woods, using the tree line to try and mitigate the pursuit of Cetra the Imperishable. Here we do see the Umbral Tide unleashing a massive volley into the Khemrian War Sphinx. And the thing is, the Khemrian War Sphinx is pretty heavily armored. These guys don't have the best AP value, but their anti-large does still help out quite a bit in that target priority here. Skeleton Spears trying to get the objective back. Lizards do currently own the objective, but this is an easy reclaim here for the forces of Japardors. And I think it'd be a big mistake if he doesn't get it. Because there could come a time in the late game, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, but it could bite him in the butt later on if he doesn't grab that. Of course, Tomb Kings are ahead in the Bounce of Power right now, but you don't want to leave anything to chance. You got to get in there, and you got to get those goodies. So Cetra, the Blessed Blade of Petra, it is erect, and it is coming for that Skink Priest. Here we get the Salamander Focus Fire shooting into the Khemrian War Sphinx. These guys have been doing quite good, about 1,000 value, so they're kind of in the ballpark of paying for themselves. But looking around the battlefield, yeah, you got to move back and get this objective. And we do see this is probably something that a lot of people who are, coming from land battle, and even Dom, right, need to get used to just this single objective being a variable. Yeah, sure, it might be 3.5 minutes away right now, but you don't want to risk it. If you space out and don't notice it, you could straight up lose the game. So, yeah, pretty big. Oxyotl still cackling around. The Master Predator is here, but Cetra is going to, this is a... Cetra is the true predator. He's going to be able to hunt down Oxyotl and kill him very quickly. Tomb Kings also have a lot around the battlefield. We have the Eyes of the Desert, King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion. Here we got Skeleton Spears and basic Ushabti. And that's got to be GG. The balance of power is massively in the favor of the Tomb Kings, in a pretty serious way. We see the Salamanders get hunted down. Dr. Jellyfish does have his Skink Priest of Beast, which he's been Flock of Dooming all game. He really just didn't have anything super big. Now, if I'm going back way back in the history of old Ham of the War, the meta for Lizards back in Warhammer 2 was actually to use, typically you would see a Slan backed up by double Saurus Scar Veteran on Velociraptor, because they would be able to take on the Khemrian War Sphinxes and hunt down Ushabti Great Bows and things like that. And I don't think the meta's changed that much in that regard. I think that might still be the way to do it. But Lizards looking pretty rough. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be GG well played. Hey, Goji, congrats on your win. We'll cast your game next, Goji. We'll get a green skin Wog in here. It's going to be great. Yep, objective is taken by the Tomb King, so no longer do they have to worry about the victory tickets. And you can see the timer, does time them out to about 8.5 minutes if they just sit on it. And Oxyotl's going to be fleeing the scene. I don't know what he's got in store for this battle here. And lore, I guess Cetra and lore is way stronger than Oxyotl. So, yeah, there he goes. He gets a little blow dart as he runs away. Yeah, Army Loss should be kicking in soon. I don't know why he's still hanging in here. I don't think he's got much more. Yep, there it is. Army Loss is GG well played, and great game by Japardor as he played very clean. And Cetra, he rules, man. He doesn't serve, and we saw that here. That is for damn sure. GG, great game. But you got to give a big shout out to Dr. Jellyfish too. Who doesn't love seeing Oxyotl? I mean, that is great. That is great fun. He just didn't have anything to deal with big monsters. He had the Clawsodon hunters, and when they died, all of his marbles were in that one bag, and that bag certainly didn't hold up. So that is going to be it for the round. Players can report the scores, and we will get the next round going sooner than later. Slime meta. Yeah, slime are pretty good. I mean, you could also bring other monsters, too. Okay, Goji won his game. House Cat of War won his game. Yep, players just need to report that. We're pretty quick here. So we're almost through 2 rounds. The rounds, I think, in this format probably take half an hour instead of 50 minutes in Dom. Dom's more like 40 to 50 minutes. Probably like half hour here, I would say, if everybody's on point and actually getting into the lobbies and things like that. So no admin issues so far. Yeah, it's great. Love to see it. The cold one icon looks like Australia, which feels appropriate. Yeah, that's funny. That's fun indeed. Very cool build, yeah. Respect for bringing the... Yeah, no, it's cool. And the little stalkers behind him was quite a bit of fun, too. Sorry, I forgot to check value. It's a bad habit. Yeah, but it was a great game. So now we just wait for the next one. Let's go find... the retro. When this banner came out, I was in my 20s. I was probably like 27, 28. Now I'm 36. It's insane. What a run we've had, huh? All of us together. It's been fun. How many of you guys... So when did you guys come upon the old Total Warhammer multiplayer? When did you guys first watch the channel? I'm curious. What was the key mistake there? So the key mistake, Orange Pest, a lot of it came down to the build. So the Lizardman build was ill-equipped to deal with big, titanic monsters, right? On top of that, the one asset he had that could effectively deal with the big monster, Orange Pest, he threw into a very, very precarious situation and got it killed very quickly. So ultimately, the Lizard player needed to take advantage of his superior infantry and be much more cagey with his one anti-large unit. Probably. I mean, it was a tough one to win. His build was far less efficient. The Tomb King's build was much cleaner. So yeah, it's tough. Warhammer 3, damn, really? Okay. Warhammer 1, oh, it's so old. Been watching since Warhammer 1. My memory's a fog more than 3 weeks ago, dude. Talk to me. I was laying in bed with my wife the other night, and I was like, I honestly can't remember what we did for my birthday. Like, I don't know. I remember the most recent 1 or 2, but beyond that, I don't remember any of them. Like, it all blurs together. Jay, Warhammer 1, dude. Yeah, we got a lot of Warhammer 1 OGs in here, huh? When you still had a second job. Yeah, dude, that was... when I was on Sports Manager, yeah. Koi mentioned you in the stream shortly after Warhammer 3 dropped. Oh, yeah, Koi's great. He's a really nice guy, too. Only ever had good encounters with him. Oh, there'll be plenty of flank overloads coming in this weekend. This faction war is gonna be very nostalgic, and we're gonna get back in a habit of doing a monthly faction war. Now that we have Conquest mode and I don't have to police people's attacking rules and stuff, I'm more than happy to get back into doing that format. So... Okay, we got Bongo and Mr. Hill battling it out. Yeah. That is it. That is it. And we just got to wait for those guys. You guys are so old. I am old, dude. I'm 36, man. It's crazy. It's catching up with me. You're a really talented caster even then. Glad you stuck with it. Yeah, it's fun, man. I love casting. It's a great time. For me, though, my favorite thing is just to hang out. I like casting, but streaming for me is particularly fun because I just prefer to hang out with you guys and chill and chat and shoot the shit. It's kind of, yeah, it's my favorite. It's my favorite part of it. Like I do record and put up daily videos, but my favorite element of everything is being able to stream. Yeah, watching on the second ever chosen. The second ever chosen was really good. Orange Pest. That was really. Was that? I think Aerocrastic won that one. Yeah, no, I can't remember. Arrow definitely, he won 2 Ever Chosens, I think. Yeah. That was really fun. All right, so we just got to wait for Mr. Bongo, and we'll start in the next round. Templar Knight, been a member for 28 months. 39, turning 40. Yeah, the dirty 40's coming, man. We're all boomers now. Yeah, RTS in general is a very boomer-centric genre, metaphorically speaking. Elder millennial genre, I should say. We're being literal. Very much a format for us millennials. Saif, yes. Thank you for the 20. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, that's true, Frost. That's true. Peeling has his beat. Has everyone beat, I think. Yeah. Like, hands down, one of the earliest. Hands down. Storm Sinew, thank you for the $5. Love the Warhammer 2 Ultra Funds tournaments. Those are fun. Yeah. Can we get one of those in Conquest? Why the hell not? And we're going to be having way more streams once the weather cools down in the next 2 months. I do apologize for the lack of streams. It's been depressing me, too. Let me check with Bongo. Who's he playing here? Let me make sure these guys are actually playing and just one dude isn't like AFK, just kind of having some fun over there. Okay. Mr. Hill? Okay, I don't know who that is. Let me find Bongo. Okay, Bongo appears to be offline in Steam. Back, oh my god. No way, you were there for that? Peeling? You were there for the magic card, the magic card videos? Holy shit, dude. That is ancient. That is ancient. Hey, Turin, been cooking any fun recipes? So lately, not too much. Really just been doing a lot of like salmon and Brussels sprouts. Air fryer is like a cheat code for Brussels sprouts and like asparagus, just with very, seasoning and air frying it. It's pretty bomb. You've been here, well, I know, it's crazy. Zillennial, yeah, we got some Zillennials in here. Yeah. Reminiscing is so fun. Remember we were going through the pandemic? Yeah. Yeah, that was a wild time, man. Okay, Bongo, is he here? I don't know what Bongo's up to. I can't confirm he's playing. I don't want to start the next round yet. They technically have a little bit of time. T-Rex, thank you. Oh my god, dude. Boomers, the new 20s, what? Thank you for the donation. That is colossal, dude. Man. I wonder if Turin even knows what dude, I know what a laser disc is. Yeah, dude. Let me tell you what. I was born in 88. Laser discs were around. They were kind of dying when in the mid-90s, if I remember correctly. But yeah, no, they were they were a thing. My dad, growing up, had a pager. He had a pager. Dial-up internet, like somebody would call your house and it would disconnect your internet. It's crazy. All good, baby. No, I'm good. Thank you, John. Love you. What's the average age? So the biggest age demographic for this channel is between 28 and 40 years old. Like that's people who are doing it. Can you check? Oh, dude, no, I can't do that. Sneed, no. My wife was just here. She could have said that. She's Polish. But no, the Polish tongue twisters are brutal. Okay, Bongo finished his game. Great. So we're going to refresh this and start the next round. I watched, dude, I've known Gojira since he was but a child. A youngling. It's crazy. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. So let's go ahead and advance. And everything looks good. No admin drama. And let's advance to Swiss. And get her done. It's just time. I played Warcraft 2 with a direct phone connection to my friend. That's so awesome. All right. So let's get this party started. And we're in round 3. So let's find a game we want to cast. And Goblins, round 3 is live. All right. So good luck, have fun. We're going to cast a Goji game here. Goji, send me your spec slot information, please. And let's see what you can do. All right. So I need to give the Bongo got the buy round. The mysterious man. He's a man of few words. He rarely speaks. He emerges like a wraith in the night and just kind of plays. Yeah, peeling, I agree. 100%. 26 here, my body is already crumbling though. Yeah, I respect that. I respect that. I'm in my 30s now. I lived it up in my 20s, so no regrets. My hairline's starting to get hit. Yeah. If I drink water and exercise, I feel good though. Yeah, yeah. The hairline mine's hanging in there. It's a champ. It doesn't look that different from my 20s, thankfully. It's very, very hard to see. But there is a slight receding, but I don't think I'm going to bald. So I think we've dodged that bullet. I started watching this channel when that's probably a long time ago, huh, Derek? All right, so let's get the Bongo in here. Goji sending me the spec code. So Goji he's a very good greenskin player, and he is going to be representing greenskins in this Saturday's faction war, which I'm very excited about. So we're going to get a preview of the WOG and see how it goes. Turin got the blessed hair genes. We're hanging in there. Yeah, hanging in there. Just had a first kid. Ages you 20 years. Yeah, I bet, Colin. I bet. My 27th year, I had the start of my back pain journey. Yeah. I'll get a mullet again someday. I don't know when. Maybe I'll grow one. When we start the tabletop channel, maybe I'll try and it does take so long to grow out that fat mullet though. Who is Goji playing anyways? So round 3, Gojira is playing what? Oh, he's playing House God of War. Okay. We've already casted a Tomb Kings game. Maybe we should do something different. Because we've already casted a Tomb Kings game. Dr. Jellyfish, there's a lot of Tomb Kings players here. I'm like seeing them everywhere. Let's do this lobby. So that is going to be Pigman. Hey. I want to cast the Demons of Chaos player. I think he's undefeated. Let me check. Yeah, Pigman is undefeated. And so is their opponent. So I'm going to see if I can get a lobby code. If they don't respond, I'll just do the Goji game. You're doing the mullet for you? Yeah, it's fun. Joe Dirt. Oh, Joe Dirt was one of my favorite movies as a kid. I love it so much. Oh, that was a magical one. So who is the opponent? That is going to be... Who's that player? Right. I think, is it this guy? Average. I think it is. Well, that player appears offline. Okay, I don't know who that player is. Let me see if I can find the tag here. We might just have to do a greenskin game if I can't get this player to respond. We'll find out. Pigman is Gojira's lobby. Might need to do a WOG. Yeah, there's a spec slot here. Let's see whose game this is. If it's one of the ones, yeah, they're on Sword of Torgald, which is the map for the round. So I suspect it's another one of our games. Okay, so this is going to be Ogre Kingdoms versus Wood Elves. I'm pretty sure this is for our tournament. I hope so. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm down to party. It'd be funny if it was just some random people and it wasn't our tournament. Yeah, this is one of our games. Okay. So I'll hang here until we get a potential message back from the Demons of Chaos. If not, we'll cast this game. Wood Elves and Ogres is a fun match. Should be good. I'm Jakob, it's us. All right, bub. It's time for you to do it. Where are you from, man? Is it go time? They're from the server? Sounds good. Average ogre player name? Yeah, part. Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty good. Hey, Bongo responded to me. He's here. Okay. He emerges from the shadows. He's got his buy round here. So we got 5 rounds of regulation, which is going to be great. So far, I haven't really had to worry about any, like, I kind of was expecting more drama with, like, prolonged, you know, games and whatnot, but the objectives seem to be doing well so far. We'll see when we get to top 4. That'll bring the dirtiest out of the players. 100%. Let me tell Goji. Are you done? All right. And here we go. We got Wood Elves versus Ogre Kingdoms here. What's my faction? So we're casting. So we're... Oh, Orion, Talk Dirty, and Gorgers. Dude, this is like a power fantasy game. Gorgers are probably terrible against Wood Elves because you're paying for so much stealth AP, and Wood Elves can just screen them usually and scout them and then kill them with archers and spears. But even still, it's going to be sweet. I mean, who doesn't love an Orion build? Come on. A player after our own hearts here. That is for sure. Jakob knows we were watching and had to do us right. We're casting all the games tonight. That's right. I know we've actually had speaking of, like, sure, a lot of the top Total War players are, you know, in their 30s and whatnot, but we've had a bit of a rise in the past year or two of really players who are like in their early 20s and late teens just crushing it and winning the tournaments. The I don't know what generation they'd be. I guess the tail end of Zoomers. They're coming for us. So taking a look here at the build of the Ogres. He's got Gorgers. Now, In my experience, Gorgers are pretty awful against Wood Elves. They still can sneak. If they can sneak up on a lone archer with their stock, they could potentially kill them, which is good. But aside from that, they're a little bit risky. We'll have to see. Aside from that, we have Gnoblars and some Gnoblar Trappers. It is going to be a Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw. This is more in line with what you would expect. Gnoblar Scrap Launchers. Elves don't like artillery. So having the Gnoblar Scrap Launchers to artillery down the various spears and range units is very good. And I'm always an Iron Blaster enjoyer, so I do like this a lot from Peanut Butter. The Iron Blaster is good at killing SEs, really good against Wild Riders, and the new Wild Riders are pretty much an auto-take for a lot of Wood Elves. So I think the Iron Blaster is a good tech. Now, looking at the forces of Jakob here, he's going to be rocking Eternal Guard. No surprises. They're quite good. Sometimes you see a couple Dryads mixed into this matchup, too, because they can actually kill Gnoblars effectively. Way Watchers. So, yeah, they're brutal, right? If Way Watchers can get in range, they can kill pretty much anything. But, again, bit of a glass cannon. If they do get caught by the Gorgers, that could be problematic. Azrai Spears to defend against flanks. We do have the Wild Hunters of Kurnus in the backfield here. A Branch Wraith and Chad Gibson, ladies and gentlemen. Is it Generation? Would it be Gen A? Yeah, Gen Alpha? Yeah. Oh, you're talking about what comes after, yes. Oh, yes. Mel Gibson, the dreaded Warhammer 1 character. He is coming, looking awesome as ever. Anti-large AP. I actually think he's quite underrated against Ogres and probably better in land battle than he is in Dom. So I'm excited to see him chasing and yelling freedom and hunting down that Slaughtermaster. That should be a good old jolly time. Yes, yes. So welcome to the stream, guys. Hope you're all doing well. If you're having a good time, do drop a like, as much as I hate asking for it. It is part of the gig. Glade Riders, Wild Hunters of Kurnus, hiding on the low ground, looking like they might want to get sneaky. They just got to avoid that Iron Blaster at all costs. That's going to be the big thing for sure. That is going to be the big thing. So looking around to see, do we have any sneaky Gorger? Oh my god. Oh, look, they deployed on top of each other. The Gorgers are here. The Gorgers ambushing the Wood Elves. That's actually really cool. So yeah, the Wood Elf Cavalry are going to retreat, but not before taking, 10, 15 casualties. But in a way, that's kind of a win for the Wood Elves, right? Because here's the thing. If Jakob does this correctly, right? He just watches them and follows them and just makes sure they don't, sneak up on him. Would you have the Wild Hunters of Kurnus heading over here? A little bit of artillery coming out of the Ogre Kingdoms is going to be nailing those Glade Riders. So they do get cooked a little bit. They take some damage. And in the backfield, the Ogres are going to be scooting up a little bit. Here we have the Powder Guts, the Man-Eaters with their Ogre Pistols. They have good range. Again, I think they're probably a bit of a... I don't know how good they are in this matchup. You're paying for a lot of AP, and they're super vulnerable against Way Watchers. Jakob is going to be moving up, getting ready to go balls deep in here. And his Way Watchers are... Oh, no. If those Way Watchers start, properly targeting the right targets, this could be a disaster. So Orion using his Hawk's Talon on an SE. I didn't even think of that. That actually did some good damage. It's kind of like a Searing Doom, right? But here we need to see the big Gibson coming up. We need to see him charging through there. And the Way Watchers need to start focusing down some high-value targets. In the meantime, in the bushes, a bit of a mistake here, I think, charging the Wild Hunters into the bush line. They do get the Withering down to the Gorgers, and they're trading, okay. But there was no reason to go fight them in the trees. You could just, stay over here and then ambush them in the open field with some spear support and some archer support, which is really taking advantage of the combined arms that the Wood Elves do have, right? Hey, Ale, thank you for the tenor. 11 hours and 102 heat, but turn stream. I got you, man. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Wild Riders ROR with AP as well. Saif, yeah, they're really good, and they're pretty much an auto-take. But screw everything else. This is what it's all about right now. We got Chad Gibson coming in, dropping the hounds, and he's got his spear out. He's yelling freedom, and oh, okay. He just got knocked over by those ogres, so that's not great for him. But now he's going to be switching about face and probably hunting down these ogres. He's on the hunt. Here he comes. Oh, he's got them hooves. He's about as big as an ogre. Yeah, he's pretty much the same size, but is he going to throw a spear? Oh, no, he sees this guy. Uh-oh. You in particular, you're going to get it. Oh! Went right through him. The demigod getting the kill. And now he's going to continue picking off these Powder Gut models one at a time. So his anti-large, he'll definitely win that. That's going to be an easy fight. Now the objective is going to be going to the hardwood. The Gorgers are still battling it out versus the Wild Riders here. Did they pay for themselves? About 1,000 value. Gorgers definitely come out with a W right there. There was no reason for them to end up taking that fight in the woods. But aside from that, I think it's going pretty well for the Wood Elves. We do see the Iron Blaster being chased down by some light cavalry, which could easily escort that thing off the battlefield. A couple of spears also supporting. Orion and his spear contingent are taking down the Powder Guts here, so he's getting it. And he's going to be hobo shanking some of these guys, that is for sure. And Azrai Spears are a very hard counter. We see the Wood Elves taking a very dominant posture in this game. Looks like we're going to have a very quick one. I think that the Ogres are certainly in a little bit of trouble here. As we see the Iron Blaster being harried and hunted. The only misplay that Jakob really made was sending the Gorgers to fight, or the Wild Riders to fight those two Gorgers. aside from that, he's played a pretty good game. Ogres, ironically, should have maybe kited a little bit more, so have their Noblars screening and then like sat deep set with artillery, using some Noblar trappers to scout the Wood Elves, instead of like moving up and engaging them, where they kind of had a bit of a disadvantage, right? So looking in the backfield here, we do have the Orion chasing down the Powder Guts. Gorgers are on their way in. Do the Ogres have anywhere that's going well for them? Oh, the Iron Blaster comes back. Okay, we get a Troll Guts. So now the Iron Blaster is going to shoot into God knows what, into the Glade Riders. A bit of a hard target since they're on an inclined slope here. You're going to want to shoot those Eternal Guard over here and get them. Wild Hunters of Kurnus, even in a low model count, they're an extremely good cavalry unit. They've managed to almost pay for themselves despite a horrible start. And they do break that scrap launcher, so not bad at all. Now, what do the Ogres have? They got some Noblar Trappers, which are MVPs in this matchup. Very good. They trade very well into a multitude of the infantry units. And where are the dreaded Gorgers going to go? Definitely go over here. So what you want to do, hang on, let me get you guys the forbidden analysis. You guys ready? One Gorger here, and then you move up just like that, and you attack that Waywatcher unit. That is the play. You can see the dong, it never lies. But it looks like they're going to go after these Waywatchers. Not a terrible idea. But this is going to be game over very soon, as Peanut Butter is looking to be in some trouble. I think Jakob has got this one. A little bit better, cleaner micro overall from Jakob, and his build was pretty effective, honestly, against the forces of the Chungus Kingdoms. And that is going to be it, probably. Army losses will be kicking in soon when that Slaughtermaster breaks. The Gorgers, they're moving in. You guys knew it was coming. Let's not mince words here. You guys knew what was going to happen. The Gorgers, they have some cool animations, man. And yeah, I mean, if they do get on archers, they can kill them. Saber Tusks are much more cost-effective at this role, though. They only cost 500 and can get the job done pretty much just as well. The Gorgers look cool as hell, so you definitely score some style points for that. A couple Ogres going to be trying to harry the Waywatchers over here and chase them down. And a lot of the artillery of the Chungus Kingdoms has stabilized here. We do have this one, we have this one. Maybe they can start shooting here and getting her done. Actually going after Orion, but Orion's going to help finish off these Gorgers probably. Ogres are just barely hanging in there on the bounce of power. There's going to be a Melkoth going down, which does some okay damage against these guys. The light cavalry, though, should be able to hunt them. Orion is also faster than them, especially with Melkoth's active, so Chad Gibson is here. The Wild Hunt! The horn has been sounded, and he does throw a spear at one of the ones to the side. Now we're going to get that sweet animation. Okay, that's weird. He's like throwing it sideways. And, oh, maybe the model died before he could finish his animation. But the Gorgers have been obliterated. The Slaughtermaster is fighting in a bunch of spears. Iron Blaster shooting away. A couple Noblar Trappers in the shadows. Not finishing off these Waywatchers, a big mistake. You definitely want to take those down. That's still a fair amount of respectable DPS right there, so you're going to want to go with those. And ladies and gentlemen, I think that is going to be all she wrote. Extra ingredients popped. It does give you reserves. It's a really, really good item, or ability, I should say. How much WOM does it give you in total? So 30 seconds. Okay, it's a decent amount. But GG, well played, guys. That's it. Mel Gibson getting the dub today. And cool, just responding to an admin question there. And we are going to go take a look and see how we are going in the tournament. So looking at the value, I suspect the Waywatchers did pretty well. Orion probably did good as well. 1,800. Azurai Spears grinding it. 1,000, 1,000. And even with the big misplay on the Wild Riders, he was still able to recover that value. And well played to Peanut Butter, too. He gave it a good college try, and he brought some fun units for us. So that was fun. Gotta love it. GG, well played. All right. So let's see how we are in the round. Let's check the brackets. And only a couple games to finish so far. A lot of the games will be wrapping up soonish. And yeah, I'm excited. So far, undefeated players, we have Pigman, Sabris, Japardors. I think Dr. Jellyfish lost the game. Yeah, he's 2-1. So he was able to get a W there. Oh, you guys want to build for that? Sure, I can do that real quick. So keep in mind, I'm not a good Ogres player, but I do have a bit of experience in this game, and I think I can kind of come up with some schemes. I would suspect that one's pretty decent for the old wood with the Wild Hunter. So you definitely want to max out a Noblar Trappers, right? You go with the Slaughtermaster. You definitely want Great Maw with the build that I'm going to be doing. You keep the Bloody Cleaver because it's healing. Belly Slapper you can cut. Blood Gruel you can cut. Yeah, well, you want extra ingredients. All right, so from here, there's two schools of thought for this matchup. You can either do an artillery build, which is using, like probably double or triple scrap launcher and sitting back and playing defensively, or you could do a rush. And, some rushes could be very tough for the Wood Elves to handle. If you're able to get, some big, heavy pressure in there, you could potentially run them over, right? So probably like two saber tusks. Oh, this is Dom mode. I was like, why does my army feel so small? There we go. All right. So Conquest, outstanding. Okay. So probably, I mean, Crushers are pretty freaky. I mean, the Crusher is like a tempting thing, but I think just going for the Mournfang Cavalry with Iron Fists, I would probably try and do like a big overload like this and try and bull rush them down. You could even go with a Tyrant and Burning Head, but I think having Troll Guts to heal up your Mournfang Cavalry is going to be very strong, right? So we get another Saber Tusk, and from here we go with the Ogre Bulls with the Iron Fists, I think. And let's see, how do we want to play this? You could even do this guy and get this and this, keep Kindle Flame and Burning Head. If you wanted to get kind of spicy, just cut all these. But I think it'd probably be worth it just to have more swarming elements. The Crushers with the Iron Fists are, or the Mournfang Cavalry are going to be really tough to kill. Cav Rush can work quite well too. So this is like one school of thought, one style of play. What else do we want to get? We have 550. Let's do that, and from there we can get a couple Noblars just to swarm around. Yeah, something like this would work pretty well, but if we want to do like an artillery play style, which is more how I play the matchup. Yeah, okay, so we have 3 games still going. House God of War and Goji, Olganard, Black is playing as well, and cool, so we got a couple. Now, you would definitely want to go with the Slaughtermaster. They're just so good, cost effective. Troll Guts. You can keep that, get rid of Greedy Fist, Belly Slapper, and that. And you could do like a triple Artie build, which would be honestly okay. And you always want to max out on Noblar Trappers, I think. You always want to max out on them. They're just too good to pass up on. Aside from that, a couple Saber Tusks for like peripheral screening. I don't hate the idea of having like one defensive Mournfang Cavalry to run down any attackers who penetrate into your lines a little bit too deeply. And now you like Orion, he definitely was a problem that game. I think you could tar pit him with like Saber Tusks and probably be okay. So let's get a couple of you guys. The Ogre Bulls with Iron Fists, just to give you a little bit of, push. We'll get some Noblar Scrappers for screening. And I really want to get an Iron Blaster, but the problem is if I get an Iron Blaster, I lose a lot of the elements I need to deal with. Yeah, I think this Mournfang has to be a great weapon. Or we could even get a Crusher and go like really hard in the paint, get a Crusher great weapon. And let's see, so cut you, and maybe something like this could work. Like this is kind of a defensive artillery build. You could also cut the Iron Blaster and then just get like another, good cav unit, for example. Get an Iron Fist and just get a couple Noblars. Like something like this could work too. No extra donuts, no. Turn Soothing Voices lulled me into sleep. Time to wait for the VOD. Get some rest. Get some rest. You've earned it. Okay, so where are we at in the rounds? We did a little bit of post-game analysis. Almost there, but we're way ahead of schedule already, so I think we're more than fine. We will have 5 rounds tonight, though, so there will be a lot of action. Now it's time to just chill. Yeah, it's been brutal here. It's been brutal weather. I hear all over the world is just kind of suffering. Even my wife is from Poland. Even out in Poland, she was saying the weather has been pretty hot too when we were looking at it. There's no escape. There's no escape. It's your nightly routine, Derek. Right on, dude. Yeah, I used to do that with a couple streams. There was a guy I used to watch I didn't want to fall asleep, but there's something about it. I used to watch Winter's SEO a lot. He's a tabletop channel. I like his channel a lot. I've been watching him for ages. Yeah, he was great. Got kind of the first 40K channel I really dove into. Hottest day on Earth recently, really. Here in Texas, we have a merciful cold front. Doesn't that... I know Texas, during like some of the summers in Texas, don't you guys have issues with like the power grid? I have my grandma's from Texas. And I've heard horror stories about that, the past 10 years or so. And I'd be interested to hear from somebody from that realm. Wisconsin weather is great. Yeah. What's it looking like for you, Donuts? Some nights I put on a good horror movie. Oh yeah, we watch a lot of really haggard horror movies. We watch good ones and bad ones. We watch everything. Yeah. East Coast gets humid. It does. Yeah, our power grid sucks. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Okay, so let's see how we're looking. Should be about ready for the round. 2 games. So we have Gojira and Housecat, and Mr. Hill is playing the game there. Very good. Let me see. All good. And yeah, so that last game's going. All right. Should be pretty close to finishing, I would imagine. The Winters, many of us are not fans of the Texas power grid management. Oh yeah. My grandma and grandpa lived in a really small town called Wellington, Texas. It was like tiny. There was last I looked, there was like Wellington, Texas. Let's see what the population is. Yeah, 1,800 people. And back when they lived there was like 1,000 people. It's tiny. And they actually owned a steakhouse there. It was pretty wild. So my grandma and grandpa owned a steakhouse there, and this would have been like in the year 98, 99. Long time ago. It was really haggard. It was like a dive bar. It was like a steakhouse where they would have like the locals do karaoke. It was pretty ridiculous. Yeah. Texas is huge. Yeah, it's got a lot of different climates too, depending on what part of Texas you're in. The weather can vary pretty considerably. You know, up north and down south. Arizona here, dry heat, so much better. Yeah. The dry heat is definitely more tolerable. 100%. I'm curious what match we can do next. There's a lot of High Elf players and a lot of Tomb Kings players. I want to get a game from the undefeated Demons of Chaos player. I'll cast yours next round. So we're going to try and get the undefeated, Demons of Chaos. I want to see what evil schemes they're doing, because they've been a big favorite this weekend for the faction war. A lot of people are dreading having to face Demons of Chaos. And also we have one of the best Warhammer players of all time playing on them, Alfredinho. He's super good. Sounds like the best steakhouse. Yeah, it was Frost. It was fun. I don't remember how the steak was, to be honest. I was pretty young. Power companies really do suck. Yeah, they do. I mean, most utility companies are just awful, right? Like internet, power, it's just all terrible, right? Like here in California, we have like really haggard internet in many places, despite, having a lot of, infrastructure here. And I suspect it's just because these like awful corporations that, like I guess Comcast would it be, or like Spectrum? Yeah, they just have a huge monopoly, right? So when people trying to innovate and bring, fiber and better tech, I have a feeling they like push back against it. There's no way, like, why would LA not have fiber? It's like a huge mecca of, tech to an extent in the industry. Did you play football in high school? Yes, I did. I played football for 7 years. Played Pop Warner. I played 4 years of high school, and I was going to play college football, but I had a severe hamstring injury my senior year, which basically ended my competitive sports career. It was never the same after that. So it was like, I'm not even going to bother. Let's call it a day. Yeah, they have a monopoly. Yeah, no surprises, brother. All right. It's just the last game left, and now we can look at our undefeated players and see who it's going to be. Okay. So where are we at? And go down here and find it. Okay. So here's the tournament for tonight. Next round is going to be the Flats of Kislev, a very good map. And here's the round so far. You can see all the players playing their games. We got Mr. Hill versus Black here. The High Elf player we watched in game 1. As long as he wins his game here, he won his first round, lost his second round. So if he wants to stay in the running, he's going to need to get her done. And if there is like a tiebreaker, if we don't have like a very defined top 4 before we get there, we're going to have a playoff to see who gets the top 4 spot, because I think that's only fair. Linebacker? No, I didn't play linebacker. I played running back and strong safety. Yeah. Way back in the day. I once showed my highlight video of running back on stream a long time ago. I'll see if I can dig it up for you guys another time. No, the classic I would have gone pro. I definitely would not have gone pro. I wasn't that good. And by playing college football, I mean, playing Division 3. Or, I could have probably played D1 football because I was really fast, but I would have been way too small to ever actually play. It would have been, a practice dummy, basically. So if I were to go to a D1 school, they would have just used me as a practice dummy, or maybe if I'm lucky on special teams, maybe, but definitely was not, big enough. Like, because there was guys who were as fast as me in Division 1 football and faster who were also like 30, 40 pounds heavier. So you can't really compete with that. Yeah. All right. Thursday night tourney is amazing. I hope you're well. I'm doing really good, Evan. Yeah, life's good, man. Taking it easy. Wrapping up our last round here. Or our last match. And it looks like it's all done. Cool. So we're going to advance the Swiss. And we should be good to go. Let us do it. Okay. So let's do it. And everybody looks good. So now we're going to advance the Swiss. Let me make sure there's no admin issues. And let's party. All right, advancing the Swiss to the next round. Let's get it. Hey, Bradimus. Happy to hear it. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words, man. All right, so round 3 has begun. Let the floodgates open. And here we go. Round 3. Or 4. Round 4. You guys get the idea. I accidentally put round 3. Round 4. All right, so round 4 has begun. Let's get the lobby code. We are going to cast the Demons of Chaos and see what sort of evil demonic schemes they're up to. It might be against Tomb Kings, actually, which is the faction war matchup in round 1 this weekend is actually Tomb Kings. It's going to be Tim the Wilder on Tomb Kings against Alfredinho. It's one of the first games we have. Super sweaty. Wish we had egg ball or rugby here. All we could pick was 100-meter sprinting or swimming or football. Sounds good. I will drop you. All right, so let's go ahead and drop. That was a shame. The Demons player had to drop. So Stingers will get the W there. As far as games go, let's see. We could do, we're going to do a Goji game. Lobby code, please. Yeah, we'll do a Greenskin game. I still eating a grilled cheese pizza. Hell yeah. That's life right there. Okay, so refresh and we'll drop. It's getting late for me. I gotta drop. Okay. I think it was a European was playing Demons of Chaos. It's pretty savage. All right, so we got the drop there. Stingers is gonna get the buy round. So the High Elves get the dub. Are we gonna have a dreaded High Elf semi situation going on? Maybe. Here we have the Goji Cave, Sword of Torgalt. And there we go. Narrate paint drying. Wow, that's interesting. We'll be starting a podcast in the fall too, like not a Warhammer 1 related one. Just a place for us to just shoot the shit, you know? I don't know what to call it. Oh, Goji's playing Jakob. Oh, we have Wood Elves versus Greenskins. We have a green duel. This will be fun, actually. Jakob played a very nice game with Mel Gibson earlier, so curious to see what they can do here. Yeah, grilled cheese is a winner. It's such an easy one to make, and it's so freaking good, too. All right, so Stingers is undefeated. I think Stingers might be the... No, there's still potentially more people to go undefeated. So Pigman had the drop. No problemo. Got a lot of people in the running for second and third. The Haggard line. Yeah, I had some ideas, but I'd appreciate any. Jakub. I should know that. I think it's probably a Polish name. Could be wrong. But yeah, Greenskins versus Wood Elves. This was a matchup we saw a fair amount in Warhammer 2 back in the day. Greenskins do have good cheap swarming elements via Spider Riders, but they can also choose to play an artillery game. Greenskins are a pretty diverse faction. The way they play can definitely be very diverse. Goji, though, I think he's going to go more Unga Bunga here. Goji's a very good player, but he also likes to meme a little bit. So there's a chance we could see, some rogue idols and different things like that. So we'll have to find out. Yeah, Bradimus, not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. Okay, the Haggard Cave. Yeah, something with Haggard would probably be good. It's definitely part of the family here. It's definitely in our nomenclature. Lamb pastrami. Wow, that sounds good too. You guys are making me hungry. I haven't had dinner yet. We're going deep tonight. Gonna make a big old feast after the stream's over. So round 4, and then one more round after that. So a little bit different than our usual Dom tournaments because the games are quicker in general. So I figured we could get away with it. Faction War preview. You guys want a little Faction War preview for the weekend? Let me see if I can pull that up. So Faction War is going to be this Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this is what the brackets are looking like so far. Let me just get this. Okay. So we have Tomb Kings versus Demons of Chaos. The winner will play Lizardmen. We then have Beastmen versus Bretonia in round 1. Slanesh versus Dwarves. Norska versus Chaos Dwarves. The Wood Elves will play the winner of that match. Vampire Counts versus Ogre Kingdoms. Khorne will play the winner of them. Greenskins versus Demons of Slanesh. So that's Gojira and Aerocrastic. That'll be very fun too. And Black, the Dark Elf player, or the High Elf player that you saw earlier, he's playing Dark Elves against the winner of that game. Nurgle versus Empire. Really good. We have like top tier players in every faction, so it's going to be really fun. And Grand Cathay will play the winner of that. Skaven versus Vampire Coast. And Vampire Coast is actually going to be Anticity, which is really hype. And we got Hadris back on Skaven. You know, Hadris has won 2 faction wars with Skaven, and Anticity has also won 2 faction wars on Vampire Coast back in the day. So this is very, very fun. And Kislev is going to be playing the winner of them. And we got High Elves versus Tzeentch and Warriors of Chaos playing the winner of that series. So that's a little teaser of what's to come this weekend. But what's cool about that format is it's like rapid fire. We're going to be casting so many games back to back. It's going to be crazy. I had 2 sirloin air fried steaks. Yeah, I want to hate air fried steaks, but I've heard they're great. I know. The air fryer is a forbidden tech. I had been learning to cook in a traditional way, so I was like, you know, learning recipes and cooking techniques. And I was like, man, this is like, I'm making progress. My cooking isn't awful anymore. And then we got an air fryer, and it basically just like blew everything I was doing out of the water with like 0 effort. And I was like, oh, like I guess I'll just season it now and just let it do its thing. You know? Yeah, it's very good. But yeah, so yeah, Hadri's Anticity round 1. Because every player in that tournament put in 3 vetoes. So they said, okay, I don't want to play these 3 factions in round 1. So their vetoes lined up. Neither of them banned each other, so it's like a big puzzle in round 1, basically. All right, so we got Skarsnik versus Sisters of Twilight. That's going to be fun. He is pretty good against Wood Elves. He can shank down the cavalry and rampage them. So if the Wood Elf cavalry decide to go a little bit too crazy, he's going to rampage them. And on top of that, we do see him being an anti-large fighter. So we have the Hag as well, the Giant River Troll Hag. She's awesome. She can beat people with her giant sack of meat. A bit of a mistake from Goji not bringing the slow ability, in my opinion, but a very minor mistake, if at best. Could even be not a big deal. Buna and Spirit Leech, you know, Buna against the cavalry, Spirit Leech against the SEs and monsters. We've got a Gobbo front line, so it's going to be Night Goblin Fanatics mixed in with basic goblins. A couple of trolls. Now, these are stone trolls. They do have missile resist as well as relatively high armor for a troll. So if you're going to be bringing anything against Wood Elves in this form of monstrous infantry, definitely going to be making them pay the troll toll. So on the flank, we got heavy armored cav. Yep, Boarboy Biggins, 85 armor. They trade extremely cost effectively into the Wood Elf cavalry. If they can get the charge, if they get charged though, they get wrecked. So they really need that charge bonus. We got the Hag. No archers, couple squigs. Goji is basically going for broke. He is going to be going pedal to the metal, full wog, running up the table, and having some fun. So let me check here. Okay. No problem. And sorry, but is it unit caps on? Yes. See unit caps. All right. So just responding to a couple players' admin questions. And we do have the unit caps. The only unit caps that are on are the CA unit caps, which has been honestly fine so far. I was like expecting some really degenerate builds because there's a lot of limitations in the rule set. But yeah, no, there hasn't been anything too bad. Hasn't been anything too bad. Checking here. Giving them the pro tips. And here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, the battle is on. Gojira is going to be charging forward. And he's got his giant sack of meat, and he's going to be looking to bonk some elves on the head. Now, looking at the forces of Jakub, he does have the Hawk Riders. An interesting tech. They, of course, can poke and do good damage against light armor, and they can also rear charge in against armor and, you know, potentially route it, so that's how they're best used. It is going to be Glade Guard. No Starfire Shafts, though, just basic variant. I think that's a mistake. The Starfire Shafts are really good here against the Boarboy Biggins as well as the Trolls. And we do also have the Sisters of Twilight, which are a very good sniper character, but if they get rampaged, it is going to be a bad time. Wild Hunters of Kurnus to defend your flanks. Fight off the Greenskin Cavalry in tandem with the Great Stag Knights. So here comes the frontline fighting, and it is going to be a very aggressive game. Those Elven Archers do not have the best targets, though. They're shooting at the Goblins here, and they're shooting at, you know, Skarsnik there. And I mean, I guess they get Skarsnik kind of beat up. Fanatics are sent loose, clubbing through. Oh my god, look how badly these Eternal Guard got whomped on by those. That is so much damage getting in there. So here we get the Great Stag Knights moving in, and that's going to be a nice charge against the AP Loonies as well as the Squig Herd. On the other side, Gojira is penetrating in very effectively. Goblins on archers, a big greenskin overload here on this side. So Goji is going ham. He's going ballistic on this side and probably is going to be cackling pretty hard. Orc Warboy Biggins with their anti-large poking into the Wild Hunters of Kurnus. And even though Wild Hunters are good against said units, it's honestly just a big swarm. And I think it's looking pretty damn good for the Greenskins out of the gates. They've already collapsed both flanks, and we do see the Hawk Riders getting into melee with the Hag. Another mistake here. I think just having the Hawk Riders up in the sky to shoot at the Hag, maybe use them to go after, defend your archers in the secondary might be a bit of a stronger play. Balance of power somehow, some way is still somewhat even. I can't help but feel Goji is in a massive winning position here. There is going to be a Faded Buna going down from Gojira on the Great Stag Knights, which is going to be ripping and doing some big old damage. And here Skarsnik does rampage the Sisters of Twilight, so the dragon has moved in. And that would potentially be a way for the Wood Elves to win this game, is if they can somehow kill Skarsnik and, break the leadership of the Greenskins, get some terror routes going. But I can't help but think that, like I said, the Greenskins are in a more commanding position this game. They've compromised all the archers, they've collapsed the flanks. It seems like the Wood Elves are a little bit ill-prepared to deal with the flanking here, and Goji seems to be a bit more of an experienced player. Goji is an active tournament player in Land Battle and Conquest. And I think he's just got a little bit more experience than his opponent, which does happen, But, good on Jakob for getting to the point in this tournament, going 2 wins and 1 losses to play against Goji. But I think Gojira is going to be doing it, and he probably will be closing this one out here. So we do see the Boarboy Biggins pulling back, but the Greenskins have such an overwhelming force on the ground. They're probably just going to be able to crump the last of the Wood Elf elements. I mean, the Sisters do have some time to kind of sit and poke, and the terror routes are on the table. Oh, we also have a Glade Captain here as well. Anti-large fighter, so the Glade Captain will provide some attacks against the Boar Boys and the Spider Riders. And the Wild Hunters of Kurnus do pile in and get a bit of a good fight. Is there some way, maybe the Wood Elves can find their way back? I don't know. It's going to be very, very tough. But, you never know with big terror-causing monsters against Greenskins. The bounce power is actually kind of close. Greenskins didn't bring any healing, if I'm not mistaken, or the Wood Elves. What is their caster? Yeah, Branch Wraith. No Earthblood, so just going to be Melkot spam, which is really good against Boarboy Biggins, actually. You're going to want to do it on those guys. And here we see a big old Greenskin Waz going to be collapsing in. Boarboy Biggins going to be swarming down. Sisters of Chad are doing work. I mean, if they can kill Skarsnik and keep those terror routes going, like I said, Greenskins could find a way to lose the game, and it could be very dodgy. Skarsnik is chasing down the Sisters. We get the Boarboy Biggins coming in. The Rampage is active once again, and now they're going to be surrounded by all them squealing hogs. So the Hogs do get the surround. Anti-large poke and sticks are very much in place. Sisters of Twilight in a very precarious situation. We will see how they hold, and that is a lot of damage. Fermented Fungi is active. And ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Goji's starting to slip ahead on the balance of power, but the terror-causing dragon is hanging in there. Remember, the Sisters of Twilight do have the Conjoined Destiny, so they do have an ability to get a massive heal going, which is very, very strong. And here we have the ultimate duel of fates. We have the evil lunch lady versus the Branch Wraith. So she's got her sack of fish. Come on, drop the fish, baby. Oh, yeah, beating it with the sack of fish. I think the Branch Wraith loses this. The Troll's probably a little bit of a stronger fighter overall, just because of the regeneration and health it has. Looking at the Sisters of Twilight, they're getting low. Conjoined Destiny is going to proc, but probably army losses is going to be kicking in before it matters. Yeah, so that is army losses. So the heal will proc in like 30 seconds, but that is going to be it. GG, well played. Gojira with the Greenskin Wog getting some good old crumping in there. Yes, yes. You gotta love it. That was a fun one. Definitely a bit of an experience difference between those players, but Jakob still did an excellent job fighting an uphill battle. So proud of you, man. Good work. Just gotta clean up that archer play a little bit. Pull back when the Greenskins press you and try and pull them into your archer line and overextend them a little bit. A couple little things like that. Probably cutting the Glade Captain would be good. All that sort of stuff. The crumping has begun. Yes, it has. Skarsnik, I'm glad he's meta. He's very fun to watch. So, all right, let me go ahead and do this. And we are going to go ahead and refresh the bracket. And not too many people are done yet. Not too many. To be fair, that's a hard matchup. It does seem to be the case. It seems like the Greenskins have some good swarming on the Wood Elves. It does. Spice Wars soon, maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll fire stream up next week. I'm not sure. A cooking stream? Oh God. I am not like a great chef. It's hard for me because my hands are like semi-crippled, so it's hard for me to do a lot of like chopping and things like that, and that's my biggest downside in terms of cooking. Tree hits, yeah. Yeah, he did good though. It was a good match. Let's see how many rounds or games we have done. I think it's just that one. I need to give this player. So let me get them. Where are you at? Okay, let's give you your buy round score here. I'll watch the hell out of a turn cooking stream. Oh my god. Maybe someday we'll do it. I wouldn't be opposed to it. It would be very funny. Okay. So find you and give you your point. I think he's down here somewhere. There he is. Okay. So we got to give Homie his score here. Someone asked Gojira his opinion on the newest Godzilla movies. He's probably back in chat now. Goji's always lurking, so he's always around. Goji's also been a long time homie of the channel. I've known Goji for 7 years, 6 years, I think. Give or take. Mr. Beans. I'm not sure. Did they not respond? Okay, just checking. Hopefully he found his opponent. Save that. -1 was a good movie. I haven't seen that one. That's the one that's kind of outside of the current Godzilla King Kong universe, right? It's like a separate thing. I've heard good things. I think it's available now. Pierogis are not easy to make, apparently. You have to, if you're gonna hand make pierogis, you gotta like roll the dough, and there's a bit of finesse that goes with that, Probably if you have like a kitchen set up for it and you have like a mold and things like that, it's easier. But if you just want to make pierogi from scratch, it's probably very difficult. Okay, so it looks like they played their games, no problem. And we're going into the 5th and final round of regulation tonight. An hour and 42 minutes into the stream, making good progress. Had 4 games in there. I cannot stand King Kong when he's paired next to Godzilla. Stupid ape. Yeah, I feel like Godzilla is way more popular. Like, even though King Kong can be a homie, I feel like let's settle this once and for all. I feel like Godzilla is going to crush this vote. He's just so cool, Godzilla is just such a cool character. Hey, long-time viewer. Plus, Godzilla is, man, all those like throwback Japanese Godzilla movies from back in the day, those are just like childhood for a lot of us. Oh my god, Godzilla had 100% of the vote for a second. Yeah, this is pretty normal in my experience. Yeah, pretty normal. Not even a contest, bro. Yeah. Dude, King Kong is getting absolutely karate chopped right now. You guys are just player hating on him so hard. Hyper Notion. Oh yeah, for sure. I've had grocery store pierogi before. They're pretty good, honestly. I want Kong to win, but still voted for Godzilla. Yeah, Godzilla crushes it. He's just so much more popular. It's not a fair matchup, as we do say here. Okay, let's refresh the brackets. We're pretty close to the next round. Only a couple games to wrap up here. Stingers is undefeated, so we have High Elves undefeated. I don't know what they're playing. Pigman dropped. Goji's in the running for the top 4 too, as is Housecat actually. So, yeah, you never know. King Kong is just a less entertaining version of Donkey Kong. I mean, he shoots nuclear beams. He does. It's pretty rad. The what's so fun in those like movies, like in the King Kong and Godzilla movies, though, as much as we're kind of player hating on King Kong right now, you guys have to admit it's pretty fun when they team up. Like we all know the movies are going to have haggard acting. The story's going to be like designed for like 13-year-olds, but it's still so fun when you get that shot of King Kong and Godzilla like doing WWE moves on the villain, right? Like King Kong will like literally pick the guy up and give him like a a stone cold stunner, and then like he'll fly over to Godzilla who will like tail whip him and shit. Like the team up is the best part. It's so fun. Like the reluctant allies, it's one of the best parts of that franchise. It was great. I love it so much. Like when King Kong and Godzilla are battling at the pyramids in the last one, and like then they team up. Oh, that scene was so good. Kaiju fights are always fun. Yeah. Godzilla hits him with the steel chair. I mean, it's basically WWE. The way they fight, yeah, just really impractical moves. Yeah. It's the cop stereotype movie, and I'm all for it. Yeah, buddy cop. Yeah, the reluctant allies. You have the grizzled old detective working with the the youthful rookie. Of course, the detective hates him at first, but then they bond through the movie. Yeah, it's basically buddy cop for sure. I love the what's it called though? Any big monster fighting movies are just the shit. Okay, one game, it's Dr. Jellyfish and Black who are going to be battling it out. So yeah, they're doing it, man. We're almost in the next round. We have a couple players undefeated. I think. No, only one undefeated player so far, actually. Yeah, we'll get it sorted out next round. -1 is elite. I cried. So what is the, without spoilers? What is the parameters of -1? Is it like more grim? Is it like more grim dark and like Godzilla is more of like a terrifying element that like? I'm curious. Like if it's like emotionally heavy, is it grim? Is it brutal? Yeah, I'm curious about that. Yeah, fun times. Godzilla 2014 was great. Was that the one with Bryan Cranston where they honeydicked us with him? I hate when movies do that. They'll like get a really good famous actor and they'll put him in the trailer and all the hype building up to the movie, and then the character like either dies in the first 10 minutes or like appears on the screen for like 5 minutes. You know who's the Dark Lord of doing that is freaking Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal does that all the time. And I mean, but the thing is, you pretty much like know that all of Steven Seagal's movies are like terrible, right? But except some of the OG ones are fun. But Steven Seagal's like modern movies, he'll like appear in the movie for like 10 minutes, and he'll have like basically all the main actors just like are like adult film actors, you know? Like that's who he casts in his movies. It's just like it's like old decrepit wrestlers or like adult film actors, you know? We have an air conditioner, Oxidated. We have a good one, but where I live, it's so hot, and I record in this like little office, which is like it doesn't cool down very well, even with the AC on. So we'll have more. We'll be back to streaming early in the fall. So after August passes, we'll be back to like a regular schedule. You saw Steven Seagal teach Alex Pereira how to punch. Yeah, of course. Oh my god, Steven Seagal still makes movies. Yeah, he does. He does. They're awful. They're so gross too. It's like in all of these movies he has like some like, you know, he's like in his 60s, morbidly obese, and he'll have like some like poor Central or Eastern European girl as like a girlfriend who has to have like a sex scene with him in these movies. It's awful. He's just the worst, dude. And yeah, I've only ever heard he's a terrible person, but you know, it is funny. Like back when my dad was still alive, back in like 2010, 2011, when I was in college, we used to go work out at the gym, and then we would like find the worst Steven Seagal movie we could possibly watch, and we would just like die laughing at how terrible they are. Yeah, it was some of the best memories I have with my dad was watching Steven Seagal movies and just shitting on him. It was a really good time. Yeah, strip clubs on every movie. Yeah, I know. All right, so let's see how we looking. Yep, they're still finishing their game. No problemo. No problemo. Yeah, Steven Seagal's the worst. And it was pretty funny because when we used to watch like really, so man, me and my dad, we watched Steven Seagal movies. And the other thing we used to watch together was Steven Seagal Lawman. Now, if you guys haven't, it's probably not worth watching, but if you're like a diehard, like, you know, just love the absurdity of that actor in general, Steven Seagal Lawman is like one of the most haggard things you'll ever see. So we used to watch that. And my dad was a television actor, so he could do pretty much a perfect impersonation of Steven Seagal. Perfect. Like almost like an exact, like if you heard him on the phone, he could almost like nail Steven Seagal's like voice perfectly. So he would like really have these good like, you know, moments while we were watching of like, you know, paraphrasing him and, you know, and just making fun of him and his voice. It was so good. Oh, I loved it so much. Yeah. Is that his sheriff show? It is, Frost. It is. Yeah. Yeah, it's like where he's like a bullshit sheriff. So there's some states in the United States where you have to get like a police officer's standards and training. So like post training, you have to go through like an academy. But there's some like there's a couple states I think where you can like a department can like kind of deputize you and make you like an honorary police officer. So Steven Seagal never had any police training. He like bullshit and lied and said he went through some academy. He didn't. And he was friends with his police department. I don't know where it is. I think it was like Louisiana or something. And he was like a police officer, like a Walmart police officer for them. So they let him ride along and actually like do police work and things like that. It was wild. Now, in his defense, the early Steven Seagal movies were fun. Under Siege was fun. What's the one where he says the blood bank line? I'm gonna take you to the blood bank, Senator Trent. Oh, that was like so funny. And then there's the Under Siege was fun. There was one other franchise of his, Above the Law. Yeah, that was another one that was kind of fun. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, we're live, dude. Paul Blart Mall Cop. I have seen that movie. I have seen it. It's pretty janky. I've heard that Kevin James is a pretty cool guy, though. My dad said he had met him a couple times, said he was really nice. All right, so we're ready for the next round. Let's do it. Let's fire it up, baby. Let's get that round going. All right, so everybody's here. And this is the 5th and final round of regulation. Yeah. All right, so here we go. So let's do... So that was High Elves. Goji is playing bongo. And we could do... I don't know, who have we not... Cartfish? Who is that? Cartfish. Oh, he's undefeated too. Okay, so let's do a Stingers game. We're going to do another High Elf game. Lobby code, please. I'm going to cast Stingers match here. And let's announce it to the players that the round is here. SFT declaration, announcement. Round 5. Fight. All right, so round 5 fight. It's go time. And we're going to get this party started. You realize that you had Steven Seagal follow Godzilla? Follow Godzilla? Oh, yeah. He's sparred. He said he sparred with Putin. Anytime you see like some like, you know, leader of a country playing a sport, it reminds me of that scene from you remember that movie with Sacha Baron Cohen is his name? It was called I think it was called The Dictator, when he like is running at the track and field meet and he's like competing versus country's track and field athletes, and then like when one of them tries to pass him, he just shoots him in the leg. It's like that's what it always reminds me of. Yeah. Like nobody's gonna like, you know, just like crush this guy, right? In a sport. It's pretty hilarious. All right, so let's see. Cool. What's your name on there? Okay, so we got the lobby code, and here we go. Join with code. Do this. And I need a spec slot. Yeah, the dictator. Yeah, that's pretty funny. That's pretty good. So we get a spec slot here, hopefully. Here we go. All right, let's party, man. Let's have some fun. So I got to drop Mr. Beans. We had Mr. Beans dropped out. Is he just Mr. Bean? Mr. Bean was awesome. God, I remember watching that back in the 90s. It was fun. So our top 4 is looking pretty well defined, I suppose. Got to find out who Mr. Beans is. Great, so we're in here. And we have Hyles versus Slaanesh. Ooh, that's a good lore battle. That's fun. That's a lot of fun. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Steven Seagal's a huge fraud. For sure. The Jean LaBelle story is, I would say, like, is true 100%. Yeah. And because there was some legal proceedings around that, where when Steven Seagal got choked out on the set of one of his shows by Jean LaBelle, I'm fairly certain that he forced some people to sign NDAs. So that's why the story, like, Jean never talked about the story, but there was people who watched it and have corroborated it and whatnot. My dad's lore? Yeah. There's some dad lore for sure. Rabbit Squirrel, welcome. You're not too late, man. I've seen that, Brad, if I'm not mistaken. Is that like the James Bond knockoff? Or am I thinking of something different? Who is Mr. Bean? I don't know who Mr. Beans is. Is it... What's your name you go by here? Okay. Trying to figure out who this is. Who is he in the tournament? Who has he played against? Well, we'll get to the bottom of it. Dr. Jellyfish. Opponent's name. Oh, he told me. Okay. So I will drop you, Mr. Hill. And we got the drop there. All right. So that's all set. And yeah, now we're just waiting for the old match to start. A little bit of admin work, but nothing too dramatic. World War I comedy series. I haven't heard of that, Frost. No, I haven't. Seems like a hard setting to make a comedy about. That's for sure. So Slanesh here, I guess fiends are probably your best friend, right? Like if you're a cartfish, do you not just max out on fiends? You bring 3 of them and hope that they can dominate the mobility game. And dealing with big monsters, it's always a little bit risky to bring like the big Slanesh. Is it going to be a Sigvald game? And then how do you kill the Imrik with Marauder Horsemen? Like I feel like that's one of the harder elements. Oh, it's actually Tyrion. Holy shit. Okay, there's an Exalted... Oh, we got Chosen of Slanesh in here and a couple Fiends. And the Marquis of Masochism. Okay. So it looks like the Slanesh build was going very hard on trying to kill a big monster character. And we're going to see if Tyrion can weather that storm here today. And it is go time. So thank you guys all for joining tonight. It's been a lot of fun. If you're enjoying the stream, do drop a like. Helps keep the old engine going. Helps me gauge what kind of videos you guys want to see. And it is go time. What's up, Austin? How you doing, man? Welcome, welcome. But yeah, it's a wild Slanesh build, man. We got a random Chosen in there, a couple Warriors, some Furies. It's going to be a good old time. So yeah, the only rules we have for this tournament are there's the Dwarf Thunderbarge, land ships and steam tanks have some limitations, and Skaven Doomflayers. But aside from that, we haven't had any unit restrictions. I'd be curious to get some feedback from players on how that's been. So if you guys played tonight and ran into anything, I know that like Fruit Rules has some pretty strict restrictions on things. So I'd be curious to see how that goes. They want more. The people want more. Land battle armies can be big. They can be tiny too. It depends. This is a very elite Slanesh build, right? We have like a Chosen unit. We have 2 big SEs, including Fiends. So for the build here of Cartfish, we have double Chaos Warrior, which honestly are pretty cost effective after the recent cost reductions. They will be able to outgrind spears and, what more do you want? They will, have a little bit of trouble versus the Narnia lines though, potentially. Chosen in the secondary with the Princes of Perfection, double Fiend, as well as the Exalted Keeper of Secrets and the Marquis of Masochism. All right, so double beatdown squad. Very, very, very weak against archers. If these things manage to get caught or stuck somewhere and get peppered by like 2 or 3 archers, they will die so incredibly quick. But otherwise, they will potentially feast. This is my full-time job, Donuts. Yeah, I do this full-time. I've been doing YouTube full-time for 7 years? 7 years? Well, full-time for like 5.5, 6 years, give or take. Yeah. Before that, I worked in sports. Yeah, long time ago. Anyways, now we focus purely on the game. For the build of Stingers, he is an extremely good land battle and Dom player. Very fun to see. You got Spearmen in the front, just going to be holding and anchoring, Lothern Seaguard, and basic archers with the dreaded light armor and the Talons of Torquilada. So ample anti-light here with spears on the flanks. And in the back, we got a basic Dragon Prince, War Lines of Crace, and another Narnia line. Now, Tyrion is a cool one. His healing ability can be pretty brutal if he doesn't get routed and he gets like a full HP heal. It can be very tough. I really like the choice of Reavers. Oh, is that going to be an instant rampage for real? Okay, so Cartfish rampages this Reaver unit, and I guess it's free real estate. They're going to die 100%. So the elves hear the siren call of Slanesh. They charge towards the fiends, thinking them fair maidens, but they're woken up to Hellraiser, as the Exalted Keeper of Secrets and the fiends are able to get a pick immediately on Stinger's forces. So So that is going to be the Lothern Seaguard peppering in, but is the damage worth it? We'll have to find out. So we do see the Keeper of Secrets getting a little bit beat up. And now the Furies are going to be descending from the skies, getting a flank charge here on the Illyrian Reavers. And Stingers does get those guys caught. Will he be able to micro away? Find out on today's episode of Dragon Ball Z. Actually, a Sunfang wouldn't be terrible here, potentially. You could maybe roast a lot of those units. But the Archers are pouring in. A lot of jacket going down, and the Archers, the Illyrian Reavers, actually do come back from their route. So they do manage to stabilize here. Now, Cartfish, is he going to be looking for another Rampage? Rampaging the Dragon Princes into the Fiends would be a pretty big power play for sure. And then getting the double Demons. But if those Archers are just allowed to feast, this Slaanesh army is going to get wrecked really, really badly. Those Archers are just going to absolutely punish the Marquis, the Exalted Keeper of Secrets. They need to be dealt with. Plus, they're also a good counter against the Fiends of Slaanesh. So there's so many elements here that are just looking better for Stingers. I feel like his army's a little bit more well-rounded and can answer a multitude of threats. Whereas the build here of Cartfish seems very effective at potentially dealing with like a big dragon-type character, but dealing with the width here might be a problem. Might be a big problem. So, you have chosen the Lament configuration, yeah. My wife and I have been watching all the Hellraiser movies recently. So here comes the Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh looking super cool. Not the Whip Warriors, but you don't need much more to beat down, you know, these basic spearmen. And now the two greater demons are going to be going after Tyrion. Meanwhile, on the other side, we see the Rahagara's Pride lowering the leadership of the Chaos Warriors. Fiends doing God knows what, chasing down the Dragon Princes. Okay, that's a good call. Surrounding with the Fury. So actually, we do end up getting a pretty good engagement for Slaanesh here. Archers shut down, as well as the Dragon Princes. And trying to kill Tyrion, though, that is no easy feat. He has some of the more insane combat stats in the game. Really, really tough to get through that melee defense. He also has a spear unit guarding him, so those spears are going to get very good incremental DPS. But the value trading, somewhat even so far. But remember, the elves have a lot of healing, and the forces of the Slaanesh do not. I mean, they have a little bit of healing on the Greater Demon. Of course, if something is wavering nearby, it gets a little bit of passive healing. And now there's going to be some witchcraft going down, enfeebling foe, as the Greater Demon is going to be turning around, going after Tyrion once again. But he has got crazy melee defense. Even with the debuffs on him of enfeebling foe, he still has almost, 50 MD. So he's chadding it pretty well. In the back, the Fiends get taken to Pound Town. The proud Dragon Princes able to lance them down. Some really, really nice damage there, as the French would say. We do see the Talons of Torquelada and the basic Lothern Seaguard doing some work. And the big Exalted Keeper is getting its bread buttered. Tyrion, the heir of Venarian, fighting up close with the Greater Demons of Slaanesh. Certainly a very fun duel, but the Exalted Keeper does fall and goes back to the warp. The Marquis of Masochism is going to continue the fight, but I think overall Slaanesh is looking to be in the pits. Their build was very skewed. I think the two Greater Demons, though very cool and very flavorful, not going to be able to get her done. And though Chosen are absolute Giga Chads, basically taking no damage, there's plenty of AP on the battlefield via the Narnia lines and Tyrion himself. So those Chosen will be worn down eventually, and Stingers continues to put some really, really brutal damage down here on the Marquis of Masochism. And, yeah, that's probably going to be all she wrote for old Slaanesh, ladies and gentlemen. A fast and furious 3-minute and 45-second game. Certainly a very different format than old Dom. But, yeah, these games can end very quickly if both factions are aggressive, and it's a one-sided engagement. Chosen getting worn, and he's juking well. Cartfish is running back and forth, trying to dodge these shots, but it ain't going to be enough, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Talons of Torquelada, Lothern Seaguard, fat, erect heels coming in. Army losses soon to kick in as well when the Marquis of Masochism dies. The only thing that did really well was kind of the Chosen. They held in the front, but that build was too elite, too many vulnerable targets for archers and spears. Against High Elves, you probably need to go wider, try and compromise the archer line, and I don't know, yeah, it is tricky. Dealing with the big dragon threat is always scary. I would probably go wide with Sigvald and maybe bring just a single Soul Grinder of Slaanesh for anti-large, but even still, it's a hard one, right? It's a hard one. GG, well played. The Demons, they certainly felt the wrath of Venarian there, and that is going to be a victory for Stingers, who's going to be our first undefeated player in today's tournament. And now he's guaranteed to go onto the grand finals. Yeah, you got to go far wider. Probably like chaff-centric. So let's actually do a little bit of scheming. I played this matchup a fair amount in domination, and, people would be surprised. There's not as much difference between Dom and the meta. The meta is, of course, a little different, but there's a lot of similarities in the two formats. So, Slaanesh, if I was theory crafting this, and I still am respecting an Imrik pick, that, Imrik could make his way in and cause some havoc. That match is done. Cool. Can we get story time? What do you want to story about? We can do story time in a minute. You could also go with a cheap Slaanesh caster, like a Herald or something. Nah. kind of a fun idea. But I think Sigvald's just annoying. You know, it still takes a big dragon a long time to kill him. You definitely want to bring Auric Armor. From here, bringing a Slanesh caster for Pavane, I think, is still the way. Pavane is just too good not to bring. And you can get this. And you could bring the Lash just in case. Probably just bring Blissful Rapture. Probably go with cheapo infantry. Just like, they'll trade into spears very, very well. Probably get a couple of those. And Marauder Horsemen I do like in this matchup. I just think they give a lot of utility. You could use them to dive in the backfield and, you know, do a lot of different stuff. Fiends are great. I would maybe bring a Seeker. Like a double Seeker and maybe just one Seeker actually, and then 2 Fiends is probably adequate. The one weakness you have here is dealing with large targets. Also clearing out spears, so you don't really necessarily have the most effective tools, so we could probably cut you, get a couple baseline Chaos Warriors. Yeah. And then maybe 2 Horsemen is enough. I do feel like we're kind of lacking in the anti-large department. I mean, Javelins can do one thing. Furies are also nice to have. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Maybe we don't need Seekers if we have Fiends. They kind of fulfill a similar niche. 1 Hellstrider would be good for just compromising archer positions. All right. So let's see here. I don't know how much I love this. I feel like it's going to struggle to deal with. I just like feel like we have to mix that Soul Grinder in somehow. So maybe we cut you guys and just like slip it in there. Sigvald has, you can cut that. Maybe something like this. There's some similarities to his build. No, it's pretty damn different. Like, he didn't have Marauder Horseman, I don't think. And he also had, this is nowhere near similar to his build. He had double Greater Demon. I have Sigvald and Caster, Soul Grinder to help deal with like large targets. I have Fast Cav here. Very low quality infantry core, because I think we could probably just beat the infantry late game with like Fiends and Furies and Sigvald. Yeah. How about a time I got into a fist fight? I've never been in like a street fight. I've sparred in boxing a handful of times. I've done some jiu-jitsu matches, but I've never been in a street fight. I'm a pretty diplomatic person, very Buddha temperament, so I think it'd be pretty hard to be caught in such a situation. All right, so where are we here? Yep, couple games still to go. Top 4 is starting to come together. So we have Sabris. I don't know who Sabris is. Is this Sabris? Is he in another Discord or something? Is he not in my Discord? Does anybody know who that is? Anybody who's playing in the tournament know who Sabris is? I might need to message him, so. Well, he beat Dr. Jellyfish. Cartfish is still in the top running. And yeah, Goji might make it if he wins his next. No, it looks like Goji lost the previous round. Okay. It ain't gonna happen. Now save up thousands of dollars and dedicate hundreds of hours to paint. You could play the tabletop version. You see, the thing is, there's a forbidden dark side to tabletop that is a little bit more cost effective for people. You know. You don't need to play either, correct? Some armies are way cheap to get into, too. Even if you want to buy GW models, there's some armies for both Warhammer Fantasy Battles or Old World, as well as Games Workshop, that are really cheap, like a couple $100, and you're going to be all set, you know? Tell the person who wants to fight him to stop him. Yeah, read a novel and put him to sleep, that's right. Taboshi, that's very accurate, actually. You're very much onto it. Troll Trader is good, but even you know, eBay is good. Like starting an Ogre Kingdoms army, like, or a Warriors of Chaos army in Warhammer Fantasy or in Old World is so freaking cheap. It's so cheap. Like, here's the thing. So all right. So you want you want to play Warhammer Fantasy Battles? Let me teach you a little, or Warhammer the Old World. Let me show you guys the forbidden tech, right? Now, it's not going to be the most meta army in the world, but it will be very strong, right? Okay. So here we are. We go to you, and we go to this, and let me show you this. Okay, Chaos, Slaves to Darkness, and this is US. All right. So you go to Games Workshop, right? This is the spearhead. I've seen it cheaper than this. When I got it, it was nowhere near this expensive. But you get this starting box, okay, and you have a Gorby's Chariot, potentially. You have 5 Chaos Knights and a Brick of Chaos Warriors, which you run these guys as an elite chosen unit with halberds. You run him as an exalted hero of Slanesh to give him the auras. You have a unit of chosen Chaos Knights. You have a unit, a Gorby's Chariot. And then you just go into Etsy and you search Chaos Dragon, right? And then you just, you know, you just get one of these dragons, make sure it fits on the right base size, you know, and like you're basically getting close to like a 2,000 point army. It's Etsy, you can get some really nice 3D printed things. Like you could totally use, you know, this guy, for example. I mean, whatever. There's plenty you could do. Yeah. Some armies are really cheap to get into, like really, really cheap. And Warriors of Chaos is one that's very cheap. And you could get those models secondhand on eBay, right? If you go to eBay and just find like, you know, 20 old school Chaos Warriors, you could probably get them for like 20 bucks. And that could be 20 chosen in your army. 20 chosen is like 800 points, which is like almost half an army of Warhammer the Old World, right? Yeah, so it's very, very easy to get into Warhammer Fantasy Battles or Old World. I don't know about 40k is much harder to get into, I think. It's more expensive. All right, let's refresh this. That is the actual figure, Frost. On Etsy, they print it for you and they send it to you. Yeah. Yeah, they do. Yeah, Chaos is like cheap to get for sure. Yeah, let me check here. So, Warriors of Chaos, Old Worlds. Let me see how many of these I can find. Okay, this is a lot. Let's see if they sell on an individual basis. Well, that's like a full army there, actually. Okay, one sec here. I'm trying to find some. Chaos Warriors, Warhammer. I was able to get my armies very cheap because I bought like all my fantasy miniatures like 2 years before Old World came out, and people weren't really buying them out then. So it was very, very doable. Yeah, let's go to Troll Trader and see. We have a tiny bit of time. Like I got like everything so cheap. Chaos Warriors. All right. Oh yeah, they got some old vintage ones on here. A lot of these have pretty atrocious paint jobs on them, but you can definitely get batches pretty cheap. So if you're like a crafty guy or lass, you can get minis from like Troll Trader here. Like this is a batch of 10 of the new Chaos Warrior sculpts, which is what I use, for, you know, 30 pounds, which if the GW box is like $60, right? And if you want to kit batch them, these are like great freaking models though. And you can find like old school, 24 bucks for these ones. You can find big bricks. These are 30, and this is actually not a bad deal because these guys are already on square bases, ready to go for Old World. So yeah, you can find a lot like really cheap. And the thing is, so if we look at, by the way, if somebody lets me know when the round is done, I don't want to be rambling here all freaking day. Okay, the round is done. We'll take a look later in between rounds. Yeah, if people have bad paint jobs, you could strip the paint. You could look up how to do that. It's not too hard. All right, so it is going to be Stingers, Housecat, and Sabris, and then Cartfish and Goji and Black. We need to have a playoff here. Okay, so we're going to do a playoff. So here is how this is going to go. Okay, so let me go to the Discord. Round should be all done. It looks like everybody's gotten their points. Okay, team, time for playoffs. Stingers and Housecat and Sabris all auto advance to top 4. And now we're going to have Cartfish. And we're going to have Gojira versus Cartfish. Black plays winner of them for top 4 spot. All right, so we're gonna have a playoff here because the tiebreaker on Total Tavern uses the domination leaderboard when their scores are all similar, their opponent scores. So you can see we have these players are like automatically in. They have 4 and 5 wins respectively. We have a couple people tied here with the exact same opponent score. So we're going to have Cartfish play Goji, and then the winner of that series will play Black, and then that will be the 4th spot in the top 4 here. So it should be pretty cool. So we're going to do Goji versus Cartfish right now. So that's Slanesh versus Greenskins. Gojira, backslot please. You play Cartfish. And you will play winner of Goji and Cartfish for top 4 spot. Okay, so we're going to do our playoffs now. Goji's going to send an invite. We should be all set here. And I'm just going to wait. Get that sweet invite, man. Do you know if Festus and Tamarcon is playable in Old World? No, but it doesn't matter. Festus, you just play him as a Chaos Sorcerer Lord and just whatever. And Tamarcon is a little trickier because you would play Tamarcon as a Chaos Dragon of Nurgle in Old World. So if you own the Tamarcon model and you can fit him onto the right base size, which is hard, you would just play him as a Chaos Dragon with Mark of Nurgle, and you're golden. Yeah, that's what's so cool about it. Yeah, in Old World you can just you can use all your old fantasy models and things like that. All right, sounds good. Okay, Goji has sent the lobby code, and we're going to join that. Map is going to be, go ahead and do pillar. We're doing the Bone Zone just to make it a fast and furious battle. Yeah, buddy, we're in the playoffs now. We're in the playoffs. Okay. And we will party here. Let's get it going. Let the Nurglings feast. Working up a nice appetite from this stream, man. The dreaded zoner of boners, yes. This will be a fun fight, though. We got Slanesh Greenskins. I mean, they're just going to crash into each other's front lines, and we're going to see what happens. What's my favorite demon in Warhammer? Probably the Great Unclean one and the Bloodthirster would be my favorite. They're just so cool and so scary. Yeah, it's a good time. How well do the Greenskins fight on tabletop? They're really good. I have thanks to my boy Frost, I have a lot of Greenskin units we're going to be setting up. I use them in my Chaos Dwarf army though, primarily, because Chaos Dwarves are allowed to use goblins and black orcs, and as well as a war boss. So that's fun. But yeah, no, it's fun. Greenskins are really good in tabletop. They just got nerfed a little bit because they had a really broken strategy, but they're totally fine. They got great cavalry, good melee, good characters. Hey, Sleepy Dingo, thank you for the $19. He says, back in the day, my son and I would watch your streams. We would pillow fight as each faction. Oh, really? He loves quoting the Skaven. Oh, that's so cool. Thank you, and the community all made. May Nurgle bless your haggard hands. Thank you. He already has blessed me, unfortunately. Sleepy Dingo, man, that's a very wholesome story, and I hope you and your son are doing very well. Very, very well. That is very wholesome. What were some of the quotes you would drop? Like, was it the yes, yes bit or man thing? Yeah. Nice herd of Black Orcs. Yeah, I run Black Orcs in my Chaos Dwarf army. They're really cool. They usually are thrown in as a kind of in the front line, but they do well. Black Orcs on tabletop are pretty good infantry, actually. They have super good armor. They hit hard. Great leadership. Yeah. They're fun. Yeah, Chaos Dwarves are rad, though. They're fun. I played against my buddy Tiles the other night. It was a really close game. He always plays the Star Dragon Lord, basically like an Emmerich, and I just ignore it every game and kill everything else and just try and win on points. It's so hard to kill it. Oh. Dragons in Old World are an absolute menace. Chaos Dwarves don't really have great tools for killing them either. It's extremely difficult. But yeah, Slanesh versus Greenskins here, and then the High Elves will play the winner of this. And then from there, we will see who is going to be going to the top 4 from there. I think I'm doing it right, yeah? Yes, correct. Yeah, because we got 3 people tied, so there can only be one. There can only be one. Trying to be watching some of the new Age of Mythology retold. Nostalgia hits hard. You know, I never played it, so the nostalgia isn't there for me. But I would do a stream of it. Would you guys be interested? Age of Mythology? Is it really sweaty? Like, am I just going to queue up and just get absolutely dunked on by some dude who's been playing it since, like, you know, the early 2000s? Or is there, like, enough of a newbie population that I'd have a little wiggle room to learn? Does it have, like, free-for-all, like wonders and sacred sites and all that kind of stuff? Age of Mythology. Age of Mythology. Okay, Age of Mythology factions. I don't usually take naps because it's just like, then I have trouble falling asleep at night, so I don't take naps. Cultures and civilizations. Okay. Greek, Egyptian, and Norse? There's got to be more than that. Oh, there's 9. Okay. Age of Mythology has 9 civilizations with 3 cultures. Okay, so you have Zeus, Poseidon, or Hades, Ra, Isis, or Set, Odin, Thor, and Loki. So there's like subcultures. Okay, I understand. Of course, it's sweaty. No more than Warcraft 3. Age of Mythology is good. Yeah, maybe I'll do a stream then. Screw it. We'll do something sometime next week. That'd be a lot of fun. Another game I thought about doing a stream of was the... it's like... I've seen some people playing some dungeon crawling PvP game that looks fun. It's like Dungeonborn or something. Would you guys recommend that? Like getting the crew together? And doing something there? Thorns. Hey Turin, thanks for the great content as usual. What got you into casting, and what advice would you say for someone that always wanted to do something with his voice? Yeah, it's so I used to watch Heir of Carthage at my old job. I used to watch him, and I thought it looked like a lot of fun. As far as like the voice thing goes, it's just repetitions. Like if you just like talk for a living for years, it's, you know, it strengthens your voice quite a bit. You can really project quite a bit more. Cutting out caffeine was pretty big for like vocal strength for me at least, and yeah, it's just persistence really. YouTube, it's like you don't really get the performance anxiety as much on YouTube, at least I don't. But like if you put me on a stage and made me do a play, I would definitely be more self-conscious. Yeah. Dungeon Board, thank you for the donation, by the way. It's just putting in reps, man. YouTube's a good place to get that experience too, even if it's not what you want to do. You want to like use your voice in another way. Yeah, I used to just watch Heir of Carthage, and I was like, this looks like super fun. And before I did YouTube, I ran sports tournaments for a living. So I used to run, you know, track meets, basketball tournaments, soccer tournaments, bocce ball tournaments, hockey tournaments. So I have a background in like sports, and I was like, oh, wouldn't it be fun to like host tournaments for this game in this universe? I thought was cool, so that was a big part of it. But Heir is a true OG. Yeah, Heir is a really cool guy. I've only ever had good experiences with him. I met him in person a couple times. He's the man, dude. Really, really nice guy. Yeah, he got me. He's basically the reason, one of the main reasons I started YouTube. 100%. All right, guys, here we are with Goji. It is the Gojira. So he is representing the WA here tonight. So far in the grand finals tonight, we have Tomb Kings, and we have a Tomb Kings, a High Elf player, and the other ones are in flux right now. We obviously have to see what these fine gentlemen get. I don't know what Sabris is playing, but we got Savage Orc Biggins for Goji, and we have Wurzag taking it back to the old school. Okay. Here we go. Fist of Gork. He does have a snare, Effigy of the Git as well. And a Ragnarok Spider to fight against some of the big monsters that Slaanesh might bring to the table, and a couple squigs. So Goji is basically going pure Unga Bunga. He is just going full Cowabunga here, and he's going to be unleashing the fury of the Savage. I don't know if this is a meme build. No, he has regular Orc Biggin, so it's not like he's all Savage, but it is going to be very, very savage. Looking over here at the forces of Slaanesh, it is going to be a Herald of Slaanesh with Shadows, backed up by the Marquis of Masochism. So the Marquis seems to be one of Cartfish's signature units. Really enjoys it. The Herald of Slaanesh with Shadows, and the rest of the army is going to be Devoted Marauders. More Devoted Marauders, couple Chaos Warriors, Chaos Knights of Slaanesh. I love to see it. There's no Boarboy Biggins, strangely, in Goji's army. So the Chaos Knights might actually find a way to feast. And on the outsides, we have the classic Fiends coming off the 5.1 buffs. They're just pretty much an semi-auto take unit. They're very good. Very, very good. And yes, I did hear about the gaming and Olympics and whatnot. We'll see what actually comes of it. It's probably going to be haggard and ridiculous. But yeah, imagine being like an Olympic commentator for like an esport. And I say they bring Total War Warhammer to the Olympics, and then we can have players from Europe playing against American Olympic athletes, and we can just have horrible lag on an international stage. It'll be great. So CA would probably still refuse to give us servers even if that happened. But yes, Goji's Savage line. I mean, if I had to look at the builds, I would say Goji is probably slightly advantaged just on the builds alone. The leadership, Slaanesh can do some leadership shenanigans for sure, but like those Savage Orc Biggins are going to do a lot of crumping against this Slaanesh army, like a lot. And also they do have anti-large too against the Fiends and the monsters, so we'll have to see. Herald of Slaanesh of Shadows, we do have Melkoth's and Occam's Mindrazor. Okay, so that's magic damage, kind of interesting. I guess against Savage units it's pretty good. Maybe you give it to the Marquis of Masochism to give it like heavy dueling potential. I don't know, it's kind of fun. So let the games begin. Chaos Warriors versus the Savage Orcs. Is Goji going to miss his charge? Nope, he's not. He gets the charge off. That a boy. And the Cartfish also gets his Savage charge in. Now the Arachnarch Spider is going to be moving in. Basically just a big Savage crump battle. Wurzag also going to be getting in on his hog. It's cool to see Wurzag. Haven't seen him in a while, but the Chaos Warriors are losing to the Savage Orc Biggins. But why are the Savage Orc Biggins leaving this fight? They should stay there. Spider needs to probably route its way over to the Marquis of Masochism. Chaos Knight's just going balls deep at the front. This is the most Unga Bunga battle we've had in a while. Brainbuster going down. Does hit a lot of the Chaos Knights. And now we see an effigy of the Git on top of the Chaos Knights. They get trapped up. And the Arachnarch Spider is actually getting some pretty cost-effective damage in there against those Chaos Knights in tandem with the Wurzag. But the Marquis of Masochism's coming in. Arachnarch Spider, however, though, is a huge HP sponge. Tons of HP and a pretty good anti-large with the Howdah on top as well. But if Wurzag gets taken to the butchery, then that's going to be pretty bad. That'll probably just be GG for Goji, right? You can't afford to lose your Lord as the Greenskins early on. So Wurzag is trying to get away. Arachnarch Spider is trying to peel the big monster. In the frontline fighting, we have just a scrap across the board. Marauders are going to be losing to the Savage Orc Biggins pretty hard. We do see Slaanesh losing the fights on many of the peripheral engagements. Right here, though, they're doing reasonably well. But over here, looking a little bit Greenskin favored, and over here, Greenskin favored as well. But the epicenter of the battle, Phantasmagoria does go down, so that is going to be locking down the Arachnarch Queen. Super cool animations coming out from those Fiends. And it does also tank leadership. Wurzag hanging in there, and Slaanesh is going to be rerouting its mobility across. So we do see the Chaos Knights with the Mindrazor, which is going to be huge damage against Savage units, and they do make their way into the Savage Orc Biggins here, although the Mindrazor did wear off. Even still, they should hit pretty damn hard against these Savage boys, and it looks like there is going to be some Spiderling summons coming in from Goji using the Arachnarch Queen. That is some forbidden tech I haven't seen in quite some time. As the Savage Orc Biggins get a little bit of support from their Spider buddies, which have dragged down a couple Chaos Knights. Is not bad at all. Over on the side, though, the Greenskin Infantry seem to be grinding very well. Gojira does seem ahead on the old balance of power here, as the Savage Orc Biggins and the Orc Biggins continue duking it out and trading very cost effectively. I mean, all these Orcs here, they do have anti-large and they hit hard, so if they're able to connect with this Marquis of Masochism, that thing is going to take some big damage. Looks like Hellraiser is going to be trying to escape here, moving out. Some cool animations on that thing for sure. Back in the middle, the Spider and Wurzag are doing pretty good. A Bonewood Staff and Squiggly Beasts are active. And the Spider is going to be hustling over here. The Slaanesh army's looking a little bit beat up. Do they have any form of healing? I don't think so. And I think Gojira's like width and just the sheer amount of like savage things he has, probably going to be able to edge this one out. Here we see the Chaos Warriors faltering. The Squigs are going to be chewing up. Wurzag is in pretty good shape. A couple Fiends do move in with Chaos Knights. That would be one way that Cartfish could get back in this game. If he manages to snipe Wurzag, he could maybe win by terror routing with the Marquis of Masochism. That's pretty much his only bet. And we do see Wurzag a little bit trapped up here. He is taking a beating from these Chaos Knights as well as some Fiends who are nearby. So that could be a potential L for Goji if he lets Wurzag get karate chopped, and the Spider Hatchlings are summoned below. Marquis of Masochism going to be attacking into the Arachnarch Spider, and on the side, the Orc Biggins continue to just trade very well. But now Goji's Big Wah is going to be on its way in. Here they come. They're moving across. They're pissed. They're angry. And it is time to party, ladies and gentlemen. So Wurzag does break, though, and that is going to be giving the forces of Slaanesh a big leadership boom. And all it takes for the Greenskins is, if Wurzag dies, the leadership penalty in tandem with the Marquis of Masochism is going to be an absolute problem. And they're still Fiends, so if Goji can rally Wurzag and just keep him alive, then maybe he still has an opportunity. He was winning this game, but I think letting Wurzag get surrounded was a bit of a throw here, for sure. Squigherd's here trying. Warzag, for his own good, is a little bit trapped up in his own forces, which is keeping him from getting chased down in open field. A lot of Savage Infantry are on the way in. Marquis of Masochism still fighting and doing pretty well. We haven't seen any terror routes. Locus of Grace activated, so physical resist and melee defense for the Slaneshi blob. Chaos Knights looking like they're going to be on death's bed here. They have 16 models. Fiends trading very cost effectively, and Warzag is at 484 HP, guys. That is tough. If he was still alive, the Greenskin sustainability and the Spider would probably just easily win this game. But the fact that he's going to break, he's going to run out into the open somewhere. If the Slanesh players, worth their salt here, they're gonna come and just hunt him down and get that army kill, because that leadership debuff is going to be savage. So going after the Goblin Big Boss, you really don't want to let Warzag come and survive here. He's at 484 HP. Now the Herald of Slanesh on its Anteater of Doom, its Hellstrider Anteater. It's going to be trying to flank around using its wheels. It's 100 speed flying, but do not let Warzag rally. That would be very, very unfortunate for Slanesh. But here we see Warzag scurrying away on his Wild Hog. The Arachnoid Queen trying to stabilize it. Goji's infantry, now that Warzag is running away, looking a little bit worse for wear. Honestly, this game looked really good for the Greenskins. But yeah, that's all it takes. That's all it takes, ladies and gentlemen. So the objective is going to be flipping to Slanesh here. Not that it matters too much. Just kind of a tool for, making the players fight. Let them fight. Warzag is still on the run. Can the Spider carry this? Does it have any support? Not really. Savage Orcs on the way in. The Slanesh infantry, of course, are going to be a little bit more stalwart, especially the basic Chaos Warriors. And I think that's it. I think the Marquis of Masochism and the Fiends are going to be able to win this fight. Warzag fleeing for the hills. He is running, as far as value accrued, about 600. Probably still has a lot of Winds of Magic left to provide to the battle. Greenskin infantry are looking real, real rough, and it's only going to get worse. When Warzag runs off the battlefield or is killed, it is going to be a huge leadership penalty. And with that, Slanesh with the comeback, ladies and gentlemen. So Cartfish making his Marquis of Masochism work after, being crushed by the High Elves in an earlier round. He is going to get another chance at the High Elves in facing off with Black, who's going to be his next opponent. They are playing for the 4th spot in the top 4. Very fun indeed. So the big Slaneshi monster grinding it out here, and the Spider, not much life left. All the Greenskin units are going to be running, and Slanesh is going to be feeding on the despair and depravity. Although, do Greenskins, are they really despairing when they're running, or they're just kind of like, screw this? I don't feel like they're like panicking quite when humans would be running from Slanesh, they would know. I feel like they would understand the implications more, but like Greenskins are just like, whatever, dude. It's tough. But yeah, Warzag is going to run. He's at -6. He's super beat up, so I suspect he's gone. Spider is doing a good job. It's fighting hard. 2,500 value on this beast, but that is going to be the end of Gojira's run tonight, and he is going to be eliminated from the tournament. All right, so next up, we have Black versus Cartfish. So, all right, you're up. Invite Cartfish. Winner goes to top 4. GG, well played. GG, well played indeed. Are you dropping, Bub, are you dropping a It's Always Sunny reference there? So Spider was cool. I think Goji should have probably gone with Azag. I think Azag with Spirit Leech is just so cost effective against these big demons. I did like his build though. Like, I liked the Savage Orc core. They were really cost effective and grinded that Slanesh army down. It's just the leadership situation ended up biting him in the butt. But yeah, because of the implication, yeah. Fiends did good. Marquis, 2,000 value. Chaos Chads, 900. Not bad, considering the circumstances. And yeah, we're all good. So the map for this one is going to be, let's do a, yeah, we could do Tower of Hoeth. Let me see what the semi-maps are. The semi-maps for tonight are going to be, yeah, we already had that one. We can do, we can go ahead and do this one. Maps. We can do the Flats of Kislev, Horned Hills, Galbaraz. We'll do Tower of Hoeth. It's a good map. It's a keeper. It's also very flavorful. Okay. Let's join it on up. And here we are. So the winner of this will be earning a top 4 spot. We're going to see who it's going to be tonight. It's been a really fun run so far. Scarsnake, yeah, it could be really good too, Hadrius. I agree. Hey, Turin, just got paid and wanted to thank you for your chill vibes and fantastic commentary. Thank you, man. Hopefully it's not a lot of money for you. I always feel bad. But thank you, thank you. Thanks for making my Friday night. Is it Friday? Oh shit, I guess it is for you. Yeah. Where are you at? You're in New Zealand. Yeah, I guess it would be, huh? A time traveler from the future has appeared. So this is going to be interesting because we get to see what Cartfish is going to adjust, right? Because Cartfish lost the High Elves pretty badly earlier in the tournament with the Slaanesh going for the double keeper. But is there going to be a build adjustment? Or is he just going to double down and expect Imrik? I mean, if you look at Black, his literal picture is Imrik. Like, his avatar is straight up Imrik. So, you know. Savage Orcs voted for Brexit. What? Oh, that's funny. Are the Warhammer novels any good? Bradamus? They are easy reads. They're not like super fancy writing or anything, but if you were going to read Warhammer fantasy novels, just read the Gotrek and Felix series. It's very fun. It's an easy read. The characters are cool. It's a good time. So yeah, read the Gotrek and Felix books would be my advice. Howling series are all in Primer now. What is that? Howling series? I have no idea what that is. I'll have to check that out. Is it like another horror series? My wife would probably know. Is that like a Hellraiser thing? Oh, is it like a Haggard werewolf series? The Howling. Oh wow, from 1977? The original? Damn. Some time travel, dude, I'm telling you. Maybe I'll give it a look. Looks like Black is ready. And so top 4. If Black wins, there will be 2 High Elves in the top 4, which is pretty fun. Sabris is... Let me ask Stingers. I'm going to try and figure out who that is. And then we just got to give the player who needs it the points. Yeah, that's good, Frost. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Yeah, they're just easy reads, and they're very fun. You don't have to, like... You know how there's some books you read where you have to, like, pay extreme detail to attention and, like, you know, be really, like, focused? Gotrek and Felix is, like, something you can put on while you're doing something else, and you know, it's not going to be so deep that you're going to miss important details if you're a little bit tired or whatever. Yeah, so that's what it's about. Frostlight, thanks for the great stream. Palps Cackle, yeah, I got you. Hold on, he's here somewhere. Hold up. There you go. It's kind of quiet. I should probably raise the volume on that. Okay. So it's Gotrek Starbreakers, who that is. Okay, so in the top 4 right now, we have High Elves, we have Tomb Kings. Let me see what he is playing. There's a guy named Gotrek Starbreaker. Oh, Dwarves. Okay, so we have a Dowie in the top 4 too. That's very fun. So 4 very different factions. I love it. Potentially, maybe 2 High Elves. You think a demi-human faction in Warhammer would be cool? What do you mean, like superhumans? Kind of like Stormcast Eternals? My favorite horror movie is The Thing with Kurt Russell, for sure. There's not like another horror movie that I've enjoyed that much. That one is just, I remember when I first saw that, I was like, God, this is such a masterpiece. And even though it's like a little old and the practical effects may seem dated, they're still really good. Definitely some good movie magic there. There's been some decent modern horror movies. Anna and I really liked The Ritual. That one came out a couple years ago. Hereditary was actually very scary too. That one was freaky. Yeah, monster and creature features have always been a great genre. The Thing is on another tier. It is. Yeah, it's really good. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wow. Well, talk about a polarity shift on the build, huh? Oh, did he bring a very similar build he may have been watching? Okay, his build's still different than what I built, but it's pretty similar. So very wide core Marauders, Fiends in tandem with a Slaanesh Herald, an Exalted Demonette, and a Soul Grinder to help fight dragons, right? Because, of course, a guy with Imrik in his profile is going to bring Imrik, right? There's not going to be any ifs, ands, or buts about that. So the wider army is going to be good. Now, looking here at the forces of Black, his army's a little bit different than the High Elves we saw earlier. Spearmen, a lot of archers against Slaanesh. Slaanesh have a lot of light armor targets. So the backfield is going to be Reavers, and the Fireborn, the Fire Chads. So Fire Chads are potentially going to be a big threat against Slaanesh, but if the Fiends can catch them in a bad position, if you can rampage them, surround them with Fiends, then that's like a free value city. Lifecaster with regrowth and another basic Dragon Prince over there. So very cool army, just cheap front line, but you know, High Elf Spears are very stalwart. They're going to be able to hold. Oh yeah, The Color from Outer Space with Nicolas Cage. Yeah, that was a really good adaptation of the Lovecraft story. It was really good. Anna and I love that one. Yeah, that was great fun. That was great fun. Yeah, Hereditary was a brutal one. It was really good. That was a very scary, disturbing movie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, where do your marbles lie? Who are you guys rooting for? Who do you want to win today's battle? Who's your champion is the question. The High Elf banner's really good, actually. Yeah, I love it. Like the rising sun kind of looks like it has a little bit of a Japanese theme to it. It's rad. But yeah, the deployment pattern, a little bit funky here. I think against High Elves, you want to go wider and be like really wide, because then you can envelop them. Although, on the upside of this formation, it's less vulnerable to being harried on the flanks by cavalry, like being a little bit tighter like this, so there are some pros and cons. But will the depraved minions of the Prince of Darkness here get the job done? What's in the tree line? So, we have a Fiend unit and the Caster all the way in the bushes. That's very far away from the battle here. And now the two armies are going to be moving up and getting ready to Royal Rumble it. Fiends are creeping up from behind. Soul Grinder Slaanesh is there to try and keep Imrik honest. In a straight fight, Imrik obviously wins, but a Soul Grinder can put some whooping on him. And you do need something in the late game to kill Imrik. I can't help but feel this matchup is hard for Slaanesh. It feels like a hard one. I'm trying to think like what would be very effective, and it just seems like the High Elves, maybe like a rush to collapse their cavalry flanks and kill their archers. Might be the play. I have no idea. Princes of Perfection getting poked a little bit. And the Fiends of Slaanesh, as well as the Heralds, are going to be emerging from the bushes. Imrik is going to be giga-chatting it in the front, landing in, and the Slaaneshi infantry are now fighting up at the point. Fireborn, as well as the Illyrian Reavers moving out. Fiends are going to countercharge, and also having the Soul Grinder here is going to be very helpful. Now remember, all Slaanesh infantry are immune, or units are immune to psychology, so they're not going to care. And this is a big problem for Cartfish. Letting your Exalted Demonettes get hammered by 4 archers and also charged by Dragon Princes is a pretty rough circumstance. But the High Elves are forced back a little bit. We do see the Fireborn getting a regrowth, and on the flank, Fiends are going to be collapsing in. Reavers maybe going to be sacrificed to the gods. The Fiends should get that charge, though, if they can. It looks like he's going to be running here. So far, the Slaanesh caster hasn't been terribly active in this game. I would like to see some rampages, something like that, and a big breath attack coming in from Black here. That is going to be a very, very nice one. As the Chosen of Slaanesh once again being brought. Love to see it. They're a super cool unit. Fiends here grinding, but caught up in spears, which isn't a good fight for them. Now Black is going to be pulling back once again and using the Fireborn as well as the basic Dragon Princes to cycle charge, which has been very clean so far. Very, very clean. And here we have the Herald moving across. Obviously not to fight. Maybe provide a little bit of supporting magic. We'll have to see. Archon, thank you for the donation. Glad I get to catch a stream from way home from my shift. I know the weather's tough. Hey man, I'm glad to hear that, and hopefully it helped you get through your shift as well, and we're here for you. Thanks again for the support, man. And more good times to come. We still have the semifinals and the grand finals after this, so there will be a lot of games moving in. Soul Grinder Slaanesh is going to be hunting down the Dragon Princes. He's been, you know, a threat this game for sure. He's been keeping a lot of the High Elf units honest, but hasn't quite been able to connect yet. Exalted Demonettes have penetrated in the secondary, and now might be able to rip up some archers. Soul Grinder needs the juke. You can't, you know, you gotta avoid that archer fire if you can. Maybe move some of these spears onto the archer lines. In the back, we do have the basic Dragon Princes who won't be super good against that Soul Grinder, but we'll have to find out. Overall, High Elves look to be in a very dominant position. They're ahead 2,000 value. Bounce power is massively Elven favored. And this does seem like a bit of a tricksy matchup. I think you got to do a rush, like triple Seeker, double Fiend, and just try and collapse the High Elf flank and overwhelm their archers. Because these archers shooting is just generating so much value. It might have to be a matchup where you kill everything except Imrik and just try and hope you can grind him down in the late game. The objective is held by Slaanesh, so that is a thing, right? If you were to kill everything else, then Imrik wouldn't be able to really play the objective. So that is, you know, an idea, but easier said than done, right? Elves, the High Elves especially, are pretty damn stalwart. They hang in there, and they know how to party for sure. So more archer fire into the Soul Grinder of Slaanesh. We got a lot of archers just teeing off. On the side, the Fiends are being hunted down. The High Elves are doing an excellent job of isolating the Slaanesh mobility and kind of forcing him into a Chungus slow fight here. The Herald moving into fight, very risky against Imrik, but you know, maybe the Soul Grinder will get a couple of pops on Imrik here. We'll have to see. The Archer line is just feasting, and that's why having maybe a couple of Hellscourge cavalry, like cheap cav, to, you know, mitigate the archers would be so helpful. And you can see damage actually going down on Imrik. He's taking a little bit. But the Herald has just been getting peppered by archers this entire game, and I think it's been a very, very tough one. Thank you, Brad, for the donation. I will get to that as soon as the game's over, brother. Middle objective here is flipping, and it looks like Black is going to be advancing onto the top 4. Slaanesh has been defeated here by the forces of the Elves. Archers are just doing too much damage, and Imrik is just giga-chatting it, probably at a good amount of value. 1,700, he hasn't paid for himself yet, but he definitely is doing very well. And if the game were to go longer, he for sure would. So Soulgrinder stabilizes. Couple warriors pushing through. These are the Chosen. Oh, just basic Chaos Warriors. And here we have the Herald moving into the secondary, trying to get on top of the archers, but now it's going to be bread buttered if it's not careful. Good micro from Cartfish, honestly. He's been microing well for the most part. He doesn't let things get caught, but overall, this seems like his build was just not equipped to deal with this Imrik build. Yeah, it's a tricky one, man. It was a tricky one. Imrik actually did take some damage, though, so I think the Soulgrinder at least did something. Fiends, of course, trading well. But arrows and spears, you know, Old Faithful, you know, historical warfare in a nutshell, right? You got the spear, you got the arrow. It's some good stuff, man. You can teach just about anyone to use a spear, whereas, you know, the mighty sword, you need some serious training and experience. Here we got Imrik rampaging, not terror routing, because the warriors of Slaanesh are immune to that. But army loss is kicking in, ladies and gentlemen. And we have our top 4. It is 2 High Elves, a Dwarf, and a Tomb King. So now we are going to advance on to the top 4. And we're going to get it. So let us have some fun. All right. You are in top 4. Stand by. All right, guys. It's top 4 time. He has done the Asur proud today. So now I just need to update his score to put him in the top 4. And we should be golden. All right. So that is going to be you. So that is there. Okay, let me find him here and go to get this and get that. Fun match though, for sure. Yeah, I'd have to practice that matchup. It seems kind of hard. I could be wrong, but yeah, Cartfish, he played very well. All right, so let me read this message from Bradimus. I want to thank everyone. I worked with a lot of younger people last year, and I never knew what the heck I was talking about. Yeah, no, I can relate to that. The Wog has fallen. The Wog did good tonight, though, Goji. Hey, Drees, where were you, man? I was looking forward to seeing you play tonight. I wanted to see some dreaded Skaven. You know, that would have been pretty fun. All right. So updating this, and then we're going to be advancing to top 4. Yeah, Imrik is really good in both Dom and land battle. He's very strong. He's an absolute beast. We got the late night getting up there, almost 11 o'clock, and that is saved. So let's refresh this. And we will go to top 4. All right, so top 4 is here. Yeah, looking good. So we have our top 4. So let's advance top 4 here. Looks right. And advance top 4. Oh, you're playing 40K. Okay, fair play. I don't blame you. That's a lot of fun. So the Conquest tournament is here. So let me tag the players and see what we got. So we have a rematch of the High Elves versus Tomb Kings. We'll probably cast the other side to get some Dwarves. Housecat versus Black, round 2. And we have Starbreaker versus Stingers. So we have 2 High Elves on either side. It could be a High Elf Grand Final. Housecat versus those guys. GG Cartfish. And cool. So we're in top 4 now. And I will cast only one side. Gotrek, send lobby code. I'll let the other side know they can play. And we should be all set. Hey, Cartfish, you're welcome, man. You played very well. No lag with the... Yeah, no lag today. We had a little bit in the first game, but it was pretty insignificant. All right. So it's time for the top 4. We're going to watch a grudge match. It's a grudging for sure. We got the Dowie versus the High Elves. You know, I'm a little biased. I'm an enjoyer of the Dwarves. Oops, wrong. Oh, is he playing Empire? You need a spec slot. Spec slot, Gotrek. Okay, so let's refresh this. Back in here. Let's see what the lobby is called. Okay. We'll get to the bottom of this in a second. How's life treating you guys, by the way? I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for joining tonight. And now we get these games started. All right. There's 3 spec slots. And the map is going to be what? Is it a Bone Zone battle? I think it's a Bone Zone battle. Yeah, we got Bone Zone. This is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. So we got the Dowie versus the High Elves. And I do need to remind you guys that the War of the Beard between the Elves and the Dwarves, it was won by the Dwarves. The Dwarven King, Gotrek Starbreaker, did defeat the High Elves. So we're going to see if the Elves can get some respect back here. Oh, you're playing a 2v2 with Blood Angels with Slanesh Demons. Oh, that's a funny combo. You guys need to start playing Old World Hadries and quit messing around. It's been too long. You can play the Skaven. Skaven are actually one of the worst factions in Old World, but they do have some really funny gimmicks. You can run like mass rattling gunners, and if you roll hot, you can just mow down your opponent. It's Grudgeon time. All right, we got Elves versus Dwarves, and on the other side, we got Tomb Kings versus High Elves too. So double High Elf today. Very fun to see. And yeah, we'll let the other side know that they can play. Cool. And you two can go ahead and play. No need to wait for me. Casting this other side. Cool. Admin is all there. Hey, I'm glad to hear it, Brad. Yeah, come hang out more often, man. We were pretty chill here. You know, we just kind of old references and us decrepit elder folk hanging out. It's always fun. Yeah, Hadries, you should, because Old World's a really good game. It's super fun. You could do some epic 2v2s. You could do like Skaven and, you know, Ogre Kingdoms or, you know, whatever, versus something else. Double Skaven. No, the dwarves exist in 40k. They actually added them. They're called they got brought back. That was a recent thing. They're called the Leagues of Votann now. Oh, do you know how awesome this is, though? Look at this. So see Warhammer Fantasy with square bases on the front page of Games Workshop. That is so glorious. Some nicely painted dwarves too. They're definitely nice. But yeah, so if you look at 40k, they are they considered a Xenos army? No, are they really? I guess they are. Okay. Yeah, but these are the space dwarves, which I don't know how popular they are, but yeah, they're space Dowie basically. Kind of a funny thing, the squats. They're kind of cool. They got like some Nordic influences and like runic elements to them. They're not my favorite though. They don't really excite me too much. Whereas the Old World, yes, Rise. The Dwarf Mountain Holds have just come out, so the dwarves have just been released. They're super cool. Like, this is a new model, I think, the Dwarf Thane, and they even have some of the old ones, like the Imperial Dwarves. It's hilarious. The Goblin Hewer here. But look how good this model is, the new Ungrim. So this is Ungrim Iron Fist. He got a new tabletop model. He's really good, too. He's a Terminator. Yeah, freaking awesome, dude. All right, let me make sure they're not waiting on me. All right, Starbreaker's ready. Turn, have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons? Yeah, I played 3.5 when I was in college. So that would have been 2011. And then I played, it must have been 3.5. I played D&D also as a kid. So I played Schoolyard D&D where, you know, you get 5 buddies when you're like 8 years old and you just make up the rules and kind of loosely use the books. But I played it as an adult once and I didn't enjoy it as much. You know, I like the action. Yeah. Yeah, it is expensive. It really, yeah, the dice set is ridiculous. I know, $45 for that. Makes me want to go play an Ungrim campaign. Yeah, I know, Felix, you're right. It is. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, the Demon Slayers. We got a Demon Slayer and 2 Dragon Slayers, a bunch of miners, double gyrocopter, a Doom Seeker. I love it. Oh, I'm so wrecked. This is going to be great. And for the High Elves, we got Larry with a Narnia Lion build. Oh my god. G-Master, thank you. First time catching your stream. Appreciate you going late. From Norway, yeah, man. We're going. Baldur's Gate, I did not finish it myself, but my wife beat it several times, and I watched her play every now and then and talked to her about it, so she kind of filled me in on I know the story and everything, and I've seen I like watched clips of it also. All right, guys. So the Dowie going for a balls deep Vanguard. A massive core of Dwarven Miners going to be up in Vanguard here. And in the back, we do have a couple of basic Rangers, which are good. You know, they'll trade well into the Elves and be able to shoot, you know, any number of targets. We got a Dragon Slayer, a Demon Slayer. Oh, I love how metal this is. Oh, God, I love it. These guys are insanely cost effective, the Dragon Slayers. Really, really powerful unit here. And then 2 Steam Gyrocopters, which are one of the few units that are limited today. So players cannot take more than 2 Gyrocopters in my land battle tournament or conquest tournaments. Because if you're able to bring 6 of them, these units are incredibly OP in mass numbers. I think with just 2 of them, you can manage it, but otherwise they can be really, really broken. So yeah, Doomseekers do have Vanguard deployment too. People forget that. Look, the Narnia Lions though, and looking at the build of Stingers is an insanely good player in both Dom and land battle. He's very good. Swordmasters of Hoeth, we got White Lions of Krace, a couple archers on the periphery, quad Narnia Lion with Rangers flanking the sides. Yeah, this is going to be a fast battle. Really, really quick. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 was an amazing game, though. I really don't like single-player games that much, and I played like all the way through Act 2 in that game and enjoyed it. It was very fun. It was very fun. But then, you know, I have a taste for the PvP violence. You know, I could only last so long playing single player. Dude, the whole dwarf army is basically vanguarded except the Dragon Slayers. Look, and now the battle is on, ladies and gentlemen. The dwarves surge forward immediately. Rangers going to be unleashing into the Narnia Lions. But there's not much to protect or take down those Narnia Lions. Immediately, the dwarf front line buckles under the pressure of the Narnia Lions. Doomseekers into Swordmasters is going to be an interesting fight. And Rangers into the Miners here. Gotrek is calling up his Gyrocopters now. On the side, we do see Illyrian Reavers coming around here. This is going to be pretty good, although the Steam Gyros should be able to finish him off. Demon Slayers are moving. Doomseekers engaged on both sides, and the Royal Rumble has begun. Phos protection activated on the White Lions here as Larry drops a little bit of support. And Doomseekers and Miners, they should win this fight. The Swordmasters of Hoeth are being 2v1'd. 1v1, they might be able to trade evenly with Doomseekers, but on a 2v1, they're for sure going to be losing. But the front line completely massacred here. Stingers has pushed through using the War Lions of Krace as well as the White Lions of Krace, and he's going to be moving towards the Rangers in the secondary. And a nice flank here as well. He drops a Larry heal on his Swordmasters. He flanks in with his Narnia Lions to help against the Doomseekers. A lot of things that are very, very good. So the High Elves do seem to be winning most of the frontline fights, but that is because the Dwarves brought a very cheap Haggard frontline and mostly Miners with a couple Doomseekers. And these are the Brotherhood of Grimnir. These are the ROR Dwarf Doomseekers. One of the stronger infantry units in the game. Glorious Death activated, which means they can't die right now. The blessed 69 weapon strength. That's what she said, doing a bunch of damage against these units here. And now the Steam Gyros are going to keep running and shooting while they do so, which is one of the reasons they're so strong. Rangers compromised in the secondary, though. Value trading this game is pretty even. It's a knockdown, drag-out match, that is for sure. Larry is going to be putting on her shoulders to try and take down the Gyrocopters. Rangers defeating Miners here. And the Chad Doomseekers are getting work done as they cut through these units. But yeah, High Elves are picking off a lot of isolated dwarf units all over the map. The Rangers going down is going to be a problem, but the Gyrocopters still have a shit ton of value to generate, which is going to be very tricky. These Gyrocopters over here just going to be shooting at the Illyrian Reavers, and the old Demon Slayer. Here he comes. He's moving across. Brotherhood of Grimnir getting ready to party. They're going to be shopping, and this is still anyone's game. This is extremely close. The objective, of course. Oh, nobody took the objective. Wow, nobody took it. That's so funny. Well, hey, you know, as long as they think it's working, that's fine. And now the objective is going to be taken by the High Elves. So Stingers does notice it and takes the objective. And he's probably going to regret not having taken it earlier if this game does get down to like a Gyrocopter mobility build with a bunch of single entities. And I also don't know how the High Elves are going to effectively kill these dwarf characters. The Dragon Slayers are going to be tough. Gyrocopters still generating good value. Here we have the Doomseekers on the other side. Doomseekers are, you know, tearing through pretty much everything in their path. And even though the balance bar says High Elves, I feel as if the dwarves are not in a bad position. What's going to happen is we're going to see Stingers probably kill everything that isn't like in a blob here. And maybe his White Lions can grind it. This is also why, like, that objective, he needed to get that earlier. He could already be at like over 100 points if he had grabbed that thing earlier. Yeah, fun stuff. Sound button. Is the sound off? Is it? Hold on a sec. Okay, it's back now. Yeah, it should be back. Sorry about that. Thank you guys for the heads up there. The dreaded Dwarven Rush continues, but the High Elves are holding very, very firm here. Gyrocopters are running a little bit low on ammunition. One of them is, at least. The other one's very healthy, which is incredibly problematic. And the Dwarven durability of Gotrek Starbreaker is really, really starting to show through here. And Dragon Slayer's battling versus the White Lions of Krace, but the Gyrocopters, oh, bombardment maybe going to go down. Yeah, the gyro bombardment on the healthy White Lions, very tough. Larry has her hands full. Maybe a second Great Eagle, right? Because when you're playing in a tournament and you know your opponent can only bring 2 of the most strong unit on their roster, you might want to bring like 2 units to chase them, right? Like 2 Eagles. It's just an idea, I guess. But we do have the Dragon Slayer, the Demon Slayer, and the Brotherhood of Grimnir. Oh, the Whirlwind. Unfortunately, they weren't really close to too much, but they do manage to catch a couple units in there, which is very, very funny. And we do see the White Lion starting to break. Narnia line swarming about. Stingers is definitely at the advantage right now, but the Dwarves do have reinforcements coming back. They're going to get there sometime. They're moving back towards the epicenter of action here. Objective 1 is owned by the High Elves. Rangers moving in to fight. That's the right idea. Just get Rangers to try and grind down the Brotherhood of Grimnir. But the Glorious Death, how is that still active? How long? Oh my god. How does it last so long? Oh my god. Do they have that ability like cooked in? So the Ward of Grimnir, they have ward save, and they're like can't lose models for quite some time. They can still lose HP though, so it's not like they're impervious, but that's big. So big heal going down from the forces of the High Elves. The objective is here, so this is so nice, right? Like in an old school land battle, there would be maybe a nuance here where like players would, oh my god, the bombardment! Oh, that did so much damage against those Rangers, dear god, and also against the White Lions. He broke them in half, but you know, there would be a situation here where attacking rules might be problematic. But since we just have this objective, you know, both players know they need it to win, so they're just fighting over it, which I think is very good. A couple of the Dwarven Miners here getting chewed up. I think Stingers is going to want to go run down whatever he can instead of like committing to the blob fight so hard, maybe. Larry's just chasing. Gyrocopters are running away very well, so Gotrek is microing them very effectively. The units are getting a little bit beat up, though. Brotherhood of Grimnir is down to a low model count. Is that going to be another bombardment? Oh, dear God. Oh, my God. The elves are just getting scorched earth. The War of the Beard is on. Yeah, knockdown, drag-out fight. The dwarves do not want to, yield this fight. That's for damn sure. And I just think Stinger's build doesn't have the tools to finish off these characters. It's going to be hard. I mean, where is the High Elf army even? I guess we have some lions over here. The dwarves are starting to take the objective right now. Larry's going in for the kill. And yeah, Larry's going to have to get her hands dirty for this one. Gyrocopters, let's look at the value they've generated. Those bombs did some fat damage. 1,000 value, so just quite paid for itself in a little something, something. Larry getting beaten down here. And the dwarves, yeah, they're starting to feast pretty hard. Now, hopefully Stingers remembers he doesn't need to obey any attacking rule or anything. He doesn't need to be in here fighting if he doesn't want to. There's no attacking rules in this format. Players just play, and you're in a constrained environment, and whatever happens, happens, So Larry pulls back. You can cycle charge as much as you want, as long as, if you have the time for it. That's the variable, right, with the objective. But the dwarves have gotten the objective. High elves might want to calm down and try and clear out whatever they can. The dwarves are just going to hunt, and those dwarven legs are being pumped. So the Brotherhood of Grimnir, Doomseekers are so freaking cool. So they get in and they start cleaving through the High Elves. But the lions have come, and they are looking to feast tonight. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion feasts tonight. Rear charge coming in, and we do see the Narnia lions feasting. Brotherhood of Grimnir very low on model count. Will the High Elves be able to edge this one out? It's going to be tough. Brotherhood, the spin to win. It's going. I love it. They're pulling a little Garen strategies. Gyrocopters are about to run out of ammo. This one has a lot. Generated 1,000 value, and this one has generated 1,200. Imagine if we allowed more than 2 gyros, how dirty that would be. 2, I think, is a reasonable number, because all the restrictions that exist in the other rule set don't exist for the High Elves, so they don't have any restrictions. They can do a lot more than they used to. Brotherhood of Grimnir, Glorious Death is active. White Lions of Krace duking it out. Rangers fighting as well. And this dwarf pocket, man, it is looking feisty. Larry's trying to chase those units down, but the dwarven character core is just 2 gigachad. We got the Brotherhood of Grimnir, and the Dragon Slayers are active. The Demon Slayers is doing it. Dwarves are going to flip this objective. High Elves do have some time to try and gather themselves, but Larry is also getting a little bit beat up. These gyros are in melee with her, and I don't know if they're also shooting, but now she's surrounded. Does she have any heals? Foz Protection is cute. Probably an Earthblood is really, really in the books here. You're going to want that. Reaver Archers are shooting. And, dude, look how tattered and beat up the dwarves are. Oh, my God. They're just like, everything is so haggard and damaged. But I think the bombardments on that middle objective, dude, were just pure evil. So the objective belongs to the dwarves. We see Stingers moving in to try and steal it. Up here on the high ground, Larry the Radiant is going to be trying to juke away. And she does matrix those gyrocopters right there. Continues attacking in. This one's going to be fleeing. 11:58 on that one. Not bad at all. 13:35. Pretty insane. Larry didn't hear no bell, though. She's trying to carry this game. And we do see an Earthblood go down to the Rangers and the Narnia Alliance. It's going to be one last fight. There's going to be one last fight for the objective here. The War of the Beard. Satisfy the grudge. The dwarves charging in. The Brotherhood of Grimnir still fighting, still firm. And a couple dudes are on the way in. And we do see the... Oh, one of the gyrocopters with ammo actually lands. Big mistake there by Gotrek. Big old mistake, because now Larry is going to chase down the unit that just broke. And that's going to save a ton of value here. Okay, there's still a chance for the High Elves. They're still kind of in this game. Just barely, though. We got 4 Doom Seekers here, a couple Dwarven Miners. The Narnia lines are breaking. High Elves are just so bare bones right now. You cannot let this gyrocopter come back. That thing still has 5 ammo. Or, excuse me, 5 models with a fair amount of ammo as well. So that is going to be very, very tough. Is it coming? Oh, Larry! Did Larry let him come back? Okay, Gottrek's going to notice this right away. And another gyrocopter is going to eat it. They're at 0 leadership right now. So Larry is going to continue the chase and get that break. Down here, though, the Dwarves seem to have done it. The Dwarves have pulled the game back. GG, well played. For the Karazhan Corps, they've done it. And GG, that was a great game. Really nice match between those players. His name is Gotrek Starbreaker for a reason. He knows how to fight the dreaded elves. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. I enjoyed the hell out of that game. That was definitely a blast. And ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to have our grand finals. Great, great game. Value for the elves, who did well. Yeah, Swordmaster is 800 value, not bad. Narnia lines did fine. The gyros were a menace as always, but yeah, what can you do? Gyros are gyros. And he didn't really bring too much to deal with gyros, but you can't. It's hard to deal with them. Maybe like one more Great Eagle to just chase it around. The dwarves had some range, I suppose, but like the dwarf range got folded so fast. That was pretty nuts. One grudge settled, yeah, I know. There could be another grudge depending on who wins the grand finals here. So let me do this. Finals. And let me set this up. Nope, I need to host as a spectator. Let's host game, finals. All right. Get rid of this and this. And we will do Conquest, which is our mode right now. Alrighty. And let me find him. That is going to be Gotrek. Okay. So we got him. I don't know who's won the other side yet. Let's see if they reported the score. They might still be battling. Housecat and Black are having a rematch there, so that could be going down. Report that score also. And then I just need to find out who wins it all. Who's going to get the dub in the finals? Lower accurate War of the Beard. Pyrrhic victory for dwarves. Yeah, actually it is. Yeah. It actually is. It was an awesome battle. Yeah, it was really fun. The staying power of the dwarves. Yeah, those Doom Seekers are just so hard to deal with. They're vulnerable against archers, but the elves didn't really bring too much in the way of archers, I suppose. Lion Chariot could have been some decent tech. Maybe, yeah. The Demon Slayers and Dragon Slayers are pretty good against chariots, though. What about like a Phoenix or something? I don't know. So maybe Lore Master of Hoth, like double Lore Master of Hoth on ground. Because they probably trade pretty well here. All right, so I don't know who that was. It wasn't somebody from our tournament. And just got to wait and see who wins now. Score should be reported. Great, great. And once again, it is time. I've never played Mordheim Casimir. I wouldn't be opposed to doing it. Somebody would have to teach me, but I'm going to record a video this week when I finish the last couple Chaos Dwarf models of all the armies. So we'll do like a showcase of all the armies there, which will be fun. Yeah, Lion Chariot, kind of an interesting idea. I don't really know. It was a close game. It was a really close match. No word from the other side. I mean, that was a long knockdown drag-out game. Housecat and Black must be having just an absolute duel of fates on the other side. Something real sweaty like. Is there a modern Mordheim? Yeah, it's just the old one. People play the old one. The rule set apparently is great. I'd be down for some Mordheim. Make a board, like a city for it. I can make an Empire Warband really easily. I have like a Witch Hunter. I have a Lector, Warrior Priests. Could use like a State Trooper. I have great swords. I think that'd be very doable. How many people can play more time? Is it a 4-player game, or is it just like one-on-one? And didn't we get a PC version of More Time at some point? That would probably be a good like jumping in point to learn it. That could be cool. Yeah, there's a PC game of it, right? Like a digital version. Let me look here. More Time. Yeah, More Time, City of the Damned. It looks like there's a ton of DLCs. It has good reviews. Came out a long time ago. That would be fun, actually, even to do on the channel. Do like a More Time game. It's not bad. There's a PC More Time game on Steam, yeah. I think 2019, really, it looks older than that. Okay. Still nothing yet. No report from the other side. We got the Dowie chat in here, waiting for the grand finals. And the map for the grand finals is going to be Prague. All right, so Prague is our map. It's a fairly open field map, nothing too crazy. PC doesn't play like the game does. It's kind of a different imagining of it. Copy that. Oh man, we have another. So it looks like Black took down the Tomb Kings again, and now we have another War of the Beard, as it's going to be Black versus Gotrek Starbreaker. And what I love about SFTs in general, not always, but I would say most people play their mains. So it's cool to just see two guys getting in there on their main factions, having fun, being bros. It's about to make a fun joke there, but yes, Gotrek and Black are ready, and dude, Gotrek is instant readies. The winner of this is going to win a $25 Steam gift card, so there's a fun little prize for this. Yeah, just crossing streams, having fun. Yeah, it's good times. Okay. Perfect. And there we are. Yep, no admin stuff. We're in the finals. We're ready to go. You guys think the War of Vengeance? I can see the Stingers was like a high elf lieutenant, and now the Dragon King or the Phoenix King is coming. Yes. Should be an Applebee's gift card. I don't know where they live. Gotrek Starbreaker, he's in Sons of the Mountain. And then we have, I think Black is stateside. I think he lives in the United States, but I don't know about Gotrek. So Applebee's might not be viable for both of them. That would be really funny to just pay European players and their prize money in like Applebee's gift cards, and it is what it is, dude. That's what you get. That would be really funny. You guys respect the Applebee's gift card? Okay, let's get it. Good luck, have fun. Grand finals time. This map's a little different. It's not quite as close quarters. You can't like Vanguard. Dude, he did not even change his build. Okay, I like the Tyrion pick. I think that, and a Lore Master of Poets. See, Black seems to have brought more to deal with the infantry and the foot characters, knowing that he can probably win the other elements of the battle. However, he has even less to deal with the gyrocopters, although he does... Oh wait, he's got a Mage of High Magic. He has Tempest probably. Okay, Tempest and Lore Master. Maybe Spirit Leech too. Spirit Leech on the Lore Master of Hoth could be pretty cool. Player of the Year award, Applebee's gift card. That's my favorite story. I love it. I got Employee of the Year at one of my old jobs. I like made them like, I don't know, $300,000-$400,000 on this like collaboration. And the CEO calls me to the front of the company and gives me a $25 gift card to Applebee's and shakes my hand. It was the greatest moment in my life. Everyone's. I got a plaque too, though. Like they at least went through the liberty of going down to like the local kids sports store and like getting a little trophy made for me. But the Applebee's gift card is. I wish I had kept it and framed it. That would have been really funny. I think I lost it somewhere over the years. It was pretty great. Yeah, one of my favorite stories. That's just like America. It's just America. Yeah. Good time. I felt honored. Yeah, I did. In retrospect, I didn't find it funny because, like, when I was there, it was like the week before they were going to give us a raise. There was a plan to give everyone in the company a raise who was in my position. I was really excited. I was like, yeah, this is great. And then, like, right before that meeting, they pulled the rug on the raise and nobody got raises. And I had been, like, grinding there for several years. And then the Applebee's gift card was really, really just a sausage punch right in the wiener, you know? Every other employee still has to applause and congratulate you. Yeah, it was pretty great. It was a good time. It was great. It's a good story. All right, guys, here we are. So the dwarves have the exact same build as last game, a huge blitzing front line to try and close the distance with blasting charges. Rangers to just shoot into... Hey, we got Rangers versus Rangers. The double Ranger duel. Gyrocopters in the back just to be oppressive and bombard and just do good DACA. Tyrion on foot, a very good fighter. He's going to be able to beat up those Slayers for sure. Lore Master of Hoth with just Earthblood. And there is going to be a Tempest Caster somewhere, I would wager. So looking for Black's army. We do have the Tempest Caster in the back. He does also have the Starwood Staff, which gives some reserve. So over the course of a long game, this is very good. And Tempest is going to be able to potentially lock down Gyros and allow the archers to do some good damage. So we will see. Yeah, Urethron, I agree. But yeah, the builds, we see the Narnia Lions a little bit less elite. We don't see Swordmasters of Hoeth out of Black's army. He invested more in like powerful characters to try and contest the Dwarven characters, which I think is one of the issues that Stingers did have in the previous game. So yeah, the Applebee's was pretty great. That was a crowning achievement in my life. Would have put that on my gravestone someday, just like the Applebee's gift card, just like taped to it. That'd be great. An American flag next to it. All right, so Tyrion's going to be advancing up. We got the war lines of Krace surging forward. They will break through before the blasting charges, and it's kind of deja vu of the previous game, right? We see the Lions move in. But man, Gotrek's Rangers pounding into the Rangers of the Elves here. We see them getting the absolute sausage, and now they're going to be moving forward. Okay, that is a rough start there for the Elves. Satisfy the grudge. That is a lot of stopping power, guys. Rangers getting nuked. These Rangers getting taken to Pound Town as well. Now Tyrion is going to be moving into the secondary to go after the archers. And where are the Elves' light cavalry? Do they have any? I'm not sure. So Gyros are forced back to the Shadow Realm by a couple archers, which is pretty cost effective. But Rangers have made it into the miners have made it into the secondary. White Lines of Grace is going to be intercepting them. Tyrion is going to be spending his time beating down the Rangers here. It's going to take him a long time to do that. Definitely more cost effective to have him going after the characters, but he can't catch them. He's actually even, the elf is slower than the dwarf. Tyrion's got 36 speed, but these dwarves, they do not skip leg day. He's got 42 speed. He is pumping those dwarven legs, and he is absolutely living his best life. So the Rangers are going to be moving up, and here on the back, we do have the Rangers grinding versus the blasting charges. The Gyros are circling around the back looking for any opportunities, but Black is using the Mage with the Tempest to try and keep it honest. Here we do have one of the Dragon Slayers on the hunt, chasing down the Mage of High Magic. Gyrocopters cackling overhead and running. Meanwhile, the Archers trading, and just on both sides, both Archers are firing on all cylinders. Nobody's even playing with the objective yet, so we have the objective here. Nobody's even touched it. Tempest going down to the Gyro. It's not going to, like, kill it, but it will do some damage and keep them honest at the very least. It lasts another 8 seconds, so if the Archers were in a little bit of a tighter position, they might have been able to get them there, but we'll have to see. So we got some Benny Hilling going on. The High Mage is going to be taking a fight versus the Dragon Slayer as a distraction until the Lore Master of Hoth can get here, so he's coming to protect his girlfriend. And he does have the anti-infantry bonus. The Lore Master of Hoth should trade very cost-effectively here, and Gotrek realizes this, and, dwarves are, they're clever people. And the Dragon Slayer, the dreaded Dwarven Kite, is on. So now he's going to be running away from these characters, and he is going to be fleeing the scene. Taking a look elsewhere on the battlefield, we do see the Narnia Alliance and Rangers duking it out. The Doom Seekers are just cackling all the way to the bank, though, to the Blood Bank, Senator Trent. And looking at the objective, nobody's taken it yet, which is absolutely hilarious. The Brotherhood of Grimnir basically just hangs out with his Demon Slayer, but I can't help but feel the writing is not on the wall, but it does feel like the dwarves are cackling pretty hard here in many regards. Archers online, we do see the Dragon Slayers just like kiting the elves, which is hilarious. Certainly not something you see every single day. Rangers versus Miners, going to be a win for those Rangers here. The Doom Seekers and the Brotherhood of Grimnir are basically just doing the dirty against anything they can catch. So the Elven infantry are having a pretty bad time. Granted, Black is doing a nice job kiting back. You know, he's got his archers online here, dropping another Tempest. That is probably going to kill a couple gyrocopters here. You see them at 11 models, so are they going to drop any models yet? 1,800, and wow, they're not losing models. Yeah, really just kind of spreading that damage out over the whole unit. But that is, you could see the power of the Tempest, right? Really able to keep that gyrocopter in check. It's only gotten 300 value this game. At this point, in the previous game, the gyros were like close to 1,000 already, if memory serves. So yeah, keeping those things honest here is good. Gyro's going to be swarming down, and here we have the archers unleashing hell onto the other gyrocopters, which are being used in melee. And the blob fight and the objective should be favoring the Dowie here. But yeah, the archer core of Black is online, and if it does come down to, you know, a character fight like on the objective, Tyrion is certainly more than up to the task of fighting, as long as he has Henry Cavill with him, the Lore Master of Hoeth. And back here, the Lore Master is kind of bullying back this Dragon Slayer. Okay, so we got a righteous scrap on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. And if the elves can keep their archers online, we got one archer here, and where else do we have any archers? Shooting into the gyrocopters. Not bad. Yeah, the elves don't really have a whole lot of archers online. I think it's just that one. So the gyros are going to be able to empty their full payloads, which is going to be a big problem for Black probably. He needs to definitely get another Tempest and try and wear down these other gyros. 9 models here, so they did end up losing some models. And we do see the Demon Slayer character getting hunted. Really nice Tempest there, though. That's clean. You can see, of course, he's used to facing against gyros. I wonder how this matchup looks in contemporary land battle. I guess we're figuring it out today. Seems like a pretty fun one, to be honest. But the gyrocopters are going to be harried back. Oh, this is very different than land battle. There's a lot, less restrictions, and yeah, the objective does like change the dynamic of matchups, I feel, for sure, compared to what you normally see in land battle and whatnot. We see the white lines of Krace moving in, as well as the Rangers to try and finish off the Dragon Slayer. Beautiful bombardment by Gotrek Starbreaker, doing the Dowie proud. Scorched Earth as he just runs those archers over. The other gyrocopters getting back. Tempest, there's probably still a fair amount of Tempest. Brotherhood of Grimnir are going to be a big problem. The fact that these guys still have 31 of their 32 models is a big, big, colossal, erect issue for the elves. Like, these Brotherhood could probably take on Tyrion with their full model count. 31 models, I mean, that's pretty insane. Here on the side, we see the Narnia Alliance coming back as well as Rangers, so Black is going to be able to get a pick here, and this is going to be a nice one. Getting those archers offline and getting those guys over here is going to be very, very cost-effective. Gotrek Starbreaker moving in with the Doomseekers and chasing down whatever he can. The mage here is going to be popping another Tempest in a moment just for some damage. It might kill a couple gyros, but yeah, those gyros still have so much ammo because they spent so much of that game actually running away, which is very, very tough. Up here we get the Rangers moving into the Rangers, Ranger on Ranger fight here. Miners trying to duke it out, and here we have the Warlines of Krace chewing through whatever they can, and back in the blob fight, we actually do get a blob fight. There's one unit of the White Lines getting hit by the Hammer of Karak Draz, which is going to massively lower their stats. And Tyrion is trying to put this game on his back, but I don't know. The Brotherhood of Grimnir being so erect and so powerful here, I think it's just going to be too much. They're going to probably butcher through the Elven units, and yeah, I don't know what they're going to be able to do. It's going to be hard. I think that the Dwarves are going to start taking this game over. We see them ahead on the balance a little bit. It does kind of get pulled back with that healing that was just popped there. The Mage of, the High Mage is getting caught by some Doomseekers. She has only 35 speed, and the Doomseekers are 40. I love that the Dwarves are just faster than the Elves. It's hilarious. And the Gyrocopter is, yeah, the bouncing implications of making Elves like all 40 speed would be pretty bad, though. They'd be pretty OP, I think, if they were all that fast. Yeah, Slayers are especially quick. You know, they're not wearing any armor, and they probably just run up hills all day, which explains why they're so swift. So back at the fight, will Tyrion put this game on his back and be able to endure? We do see Gotrek is up by about 800 value. The Elves have gotten a lot of healing. Tyrion is beating up this Demon Slayer for sure, and we see the Narnia lines, feasting. And there are some pockets around the battlefield where Black is doing quite well. The Narnia lines over here are able to chew down the Ekron's Miners. These Rangers are going to die. The objective is, nobody's even playing the objective. Like, I can't believe it. Like, at this point, if somebody had grabbed the objective earlier, they would be a minute and 20 seconds away from winning the game, assuming they held it the entire time. Like, that could have been a big, big difference maker, right? Tyrion gets his heal. So Tyrion gets the Heart of Averlorn and heals up to full health, just about. Well, up to his healing cap, give or take. And he is putting a whooping here on this Dragon Slayer. Now, remember, the Gyrocopters are still shooting away. The Narnia lines are feasting on whatever they can. The Mage of High Magic is just running and trying to get away from those Doomseekers. Tyrion is really trying hard to get this W, and if anybody can do it, it's certainly him. He is showing these Dwarven characters who is the Master Duelist. As the Demon Slayer is really low, 192 HP, he's fighting to the end. Is Tyrion going to Giga Chad this game? Okay, it looks like the Dwarven Lord has fallen. And now it's Tyrion and the Lore Master of Hoth versus this Dragon Slayer. And there is going to be an Earthblood going down here. Whew, man, I don't know. Maybe Tyrion can work his magic. But the fact that those Doomseekers are so powerful and so numerous is going to be so incredibly hard. So incredibly hard. Lore Master of Hoth is down to 4-7 leadership. So he's hanging in there. But he's getting danger close to breaking. These Brotherhood of Grimnir are up to 2,300 value here. Tyrion is trying to get the Dwarven characters. I think Tyrion needs to escape and try and connect over here. But, oh God, man, it's going to be so hard. These Doomseekers are just carrying this game. Is Tyrion going to run? He uses Feint and Riposte. Gyrocopters are wavering, a little bit low in ammo, but it's going to be enough to break those units. And this was a knockdown, drag-out fight. And these matches have been very close tonight. I love the Tyrion pick, though. He's only gotten 700 value, which is surprising, but I felt like he's done more. I wonder if having Tyrion on horseback would have been more, like he could have provided more utility to the battle. I'm not sure. Maybe you just bring out Big Chad Imric, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe going Imric, right? And just having him, you know, breath attack the various units. And Doomseekers suck against monsters. I mean, they don't suck, but they're not great against them. So the elves are waddling back to the objective here. We see Tyrion is trying to flee the scene from the Doomseekers. Narnia line's running away. But the Doomseekers are, there's just too many of them. They're too numerous. There's a fat brick right here with 1,400 value. And the Brotherhood of Grimnir, they are just so angry. Look at this. Oh, 2,600 value. And they're going to show the Air Venarian who's boss. GG, well played to both players. Black played an excellent game, but Gotrek Starbreaker came in with the Doomseeker build and the Demon Slayers and was an absolute menace. Absolute menace. GG, well played. The Dwarves have won today's single faction tournament. Gotrek will be winning the Steam gift card. And well played to all the players, though. That was a really good set of matches. I had an absolute blast with this one. And hopefully you guys did as well. I think it was a cool change of pace. It's fun. You know, the games are fast, and you get to see kind of different faction variants. So let me know what you guys think. If you're watching this back in the comments, if you want to see more Conquest SFTs, let me know. Something I have been planning for the fall, so when we get to like September, was to launch a Conquest leaderboard on Total Tavern. So I'm gonna talk to the developers about doing that, see if it's possible. So we would have tournaments for both Domination as well as Conquest mode. And with season finals, and we'd probably just call it ECL. You know, it'd be fun. But yeah, that's my plan for now. I've been having an absolute blast with the format. So now that I don't have to police attacking rules, it's just I'm stoked. All right, guys, drop a like on the way out if you guys enjoyed this. You guys rock, man. Thank you all for your support. A lot of donations tonight. Helps keep this old man going. So thank you guys so much for that. And yeah, man. That's going to be it. GG. Well played. We'll see you guys around. Adios. Do widzenia. And that is going to be it tonight. Cheers.